What's up, people? What's up, people? What's up, people? It is your boy MM2K back again with the co-host of all co-hosts, my homie, Project Storm. Storm, how are you doing today, my good friend?
Man, I'm kind of tired, man, because I've been putting these hours in playing these games and everything, man. I got a whole lot to talk about when it comes to which games I've been playing, bro. Some of the stuff you might be surprised by, some of it you may not. But one thing for certain is I'm ready to get on. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right, there you go. All right. I was just making sure because I had the audio. Sorry, I had the double audio to stream. I'm watching the stream as well. But so yeah, man, got a lot to talk about when it comes to these games. Been playing some games as usual. And it's some things out there that that we are definitely gonna get into, and I can't wait, man.
Absolutely, absolutely. Do I have Stadia up and running? Yes, I do. I'm such a Stadia fanatic. I got it up and running, and it's messing with the quality of the stream. But we fixed that. All right. So everybody in the chat, shout out to you. Thank you very much for joining us today. We got a fantastic show, very eye-opening show for everybody today. But if you could do us a huge favor before we get started, just hit that hunchback well below. Let everybody know that we are live. We got a hell of a show for you. Shout out to everybody in the chat so far. My good brother, the gaming advocate. Shout out to Chase. He was in our live stream yesterday of the new platform. We're going to talk about that because I know people got some concerns about that, Storm, but we're going to break it down on what it is. But he was in the live stream yesterday showing love, and he's out here before we even got started showing some love. With the 10 spot, he says, can't watch live today, but wanted to drop a super chat to say, keep up the great work. Always MM and Storm. Love you guys. SML Podcast, Saturday Evolution. Shout out to you, Storm. We can't wait till you, shout out to you, Chase. Can't wait till you come back next week, brother. All right. And with that said, we got Happy Cloud Gamer in the chat. We also got Gaming Advocate in the chat, as we said. Homie, Unitrix is a wild Unitrix appears. We got Cloud Gamer 201. Project Kill, what's going on, good brother, in the chat building as well. And my homie, Rome in the house. He's sitting fitting to talk my ish. That's what's going on, brother.
And we already know what it is, Ron. We know what it is.
Hey, Ron, we might have to pass the scepter to you, man. I don't know what's up with it. Anybody seen Amunar? I ain't seen Amunar.
Amunar he was in my live stream the other day, man. He was up in there. He showed his head, man. But I tell you who I haven't seen, and I'm kind of concerned, man. And that's the homie Chris, man. I haven't seen Chris in a while,
either.
man.
Yeah.
So if anybody knows where Chris is, I might have to hit him up on Twitter or whatever,
Yeah. The greatest smile in the world. That's my homie Chris, man.
Absolutely.
Definitely appreciate him. With that said, I guess we can get right into well, let me tell everybody, because Storm always gets on me for this, rightfully so. Because people don't even know what they're getting into, even though it's in the title. Shout out to the homie Project Kildo with the $5 sticker, man. Thank you so much, brother. Appreciate you. I want to say this, though. Today's show, we're going to be talking about Bethesda, the big announcement that was made at the Bethesda Roundtable with Xbox, and what that potentially could mean for Stadia and cloud platforms going into the future. We want to talk about that and give our thoughts on that because there's a big debate and a large discussion going on around it. And people may say things have been etched in stone. We're going to argue not so much, but regardless, this is a big deal. So we're going to talk about it.
Then try to make things sound all nice and everything, man. We're going to keep it real, man. That's what he meant to say. We're going to keep it real. We're going to call it out like we see it. That's all, man. I'm sorry.
There might be some a Storm. There might be some of the faint of heart that ain't ready for us yet. We got to ease them on in. You know what I'm saying?
Man, you got to put your big boy or girl pants on and come up in here. Let's have this conversation, man. It's about the future of what we love to do. Game.
All facts.
You know what I'm saying? It's the future of gaming, y'all. So we got to take care of these matters right now, and I'll give y'all an example of that. MM2K, don't let me hijack the show, man, but I get excited on Saturdays, and we didn't have no gaming advocate this morning, man. So this is my first I could kind of chill and mellow out to the gaming advocate, man. Saturday morning coffee talk, I could do that, right? But since, and I understand why my brother took off. He's been off this week, y'all. In case you didn't know, just doing what he has to do, taking care of some things, getting his mind right, which we all should do.
Absolutely.
But when he comes back, y'all, it is what it is. So, yeah, I missed that episode this morning, man. I really did. But like you said, shout out to the homie, man. Everything will be cool next week. He'll be back next weekend at 9 a.m. Eastern time. Let's go, though.
Awesome stuff. Absolutely. No, because after we talk about Bethesda Storm, speaking of hijacking the show, we're gonna let you hijack the show, and we're gonna go to whatever we're gonna call it, the Storm Chronicles. We figuring out a name for this. We're Storm just like, hold on, Ma, shut up now. Let me get into my bag. You know what I'm saying? So there's whatever Storm has come across in the gaming news, we're gonna turn it over to him, and we're gonna talk about that, and then we're going to not to wrap the show up, but then next we're going to talk about the big move that Stadia is making. And shout out to the homie Rome with the $2 says, keep it $100. Shout out to you. Thank you, Rome. We
got to, Rome. That's what you do, right?
Absolutely.
So you know damn well that's what we're going to do.
Absolutely. What we want to do after we go over what Storm brings to light is we want to talk about the move that Stadia is making, which really, I don't think Storm is getting the attention it should. Maybe, and there could be an agenda behind that, because what Stadia is getting into and is kicking off today, they're doing something called a game jam, and we'll get into the details later, but they're actually doing something that counter argues points that have been made that Stadia is not in it for a long haul, or they're not in it for long term or whatever, and that counters that narrative. And my question is, even if it does counter the narrative, it's not about us being right. It's about the platform doing what's best for the platform. So regardless if it's what you thought they were going to do or if it wasn't, you should still talk about it. And I'm just curious on why the community ain't talking about it. But we're going to talk about it here. And then we're going to wrap up with, before we get to your phone calls and everything, we're going to wrap up with talking about big moves that we made on this platform. We got a brand new platform being added to the platform, and we got a brand new challenge that we're working with another content creator on. We want to talk about all that. So with that said, there we go. Let me pay the bills, and then we're going to get into the juiciest part of the whole show where we talk about what Storm been playing. But I'm going to pay the bills real quick. First and foremost, today on PNTS Network is the SML Podcast. That is a show co-hosted by Project Storm and myself, MM2K. It airs it airs 11 a.m. every Saturday. Please be signed up and subscribe to this channel and Project Storm's channel. See, if you weren't signed up to Project Storm's channel, if you weren't subscribed to it, you missed a hell of an interview last week. Really our best episode to date, I feel, with John Scar. If you're not signed up, go to the description right now and go to Project Storm's channel, because this show alternates. All right, and when Project Storm takes over, it's like a different show. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, we had our best episode last week on Project Storm's channel, so y'all definitely want to sub to his channel. All right, then tomorrow is Yang Meets Yang of Gaming, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time every Sunday. That's where opposite minds of the gaming spectrum get together. They debate, they deep dive, talk everything gaming. It's on Snow Bunny Gaming's channel, co-hosted by Project Storm and Snow Bunny Gaming. All right, so definitely check that out every 2 p.m. Eastern time on Sunday. On Wednesdays, it's SSC Podcast, where we talk all things Stadia. We had a hell of a show with my homie Proper's Place and Rick Tone. Oh my God, that was a hell of a show. That might have been one of our best shows to date as well.
Definitely. Yeah, it was just a good week, man.
It was.
It was just a hell of a week starting off Saturday and getting into Wednesday, man. I really can't deny that.
Absolutely. I mean, yeah. Even in a period storm of slow news, even just being focused on Stadia, it was a good week of stuff to talk about. It's just all about what is it that you want to talk about. If you're looking for bad news, you're always going to find bad news. If you're looking for all news, you're going to find all news. So it all depends on what you're talking about. So hell of a show on Wednesday. Shout out to Proper's Place, Rick Tone, and we had a hell of an after show too. With Proper's Place as well, man. Great guy, great content creator. Definitely check out that episode. And last but not least, it's kind of on hiatus. More to come on it. But we got the Commission Podcast, co-hosted by Project Storm, myself, Snow Bunny Gaming, and Tron of Sick Humor and King Thrash Roundtable Podcast. It's on hiatus for a little bit. However, this Thursday, we got a special show. Kind of a debate, but it's going to be a civil educational debate. Me and Project Storm are going to be sitting with Sick Humor I mean, not Sick Humor. Well, I don't know if Sick Humor, we've invited Sick Humor. I don't know if he's accepted. But Sick Humor and King Thrash definitely accepted. So hopefully we'll have that back and forth discussion. Again, a civil discussion, that might get, a little contentious here and there, but it's all for the sake of educating the gamer.
And it's going to be real. And it's
going to be real. Yeah, for the sake of being real. And for minds that are into gaming, and I think that would make it hellified entertaining. And definitely it'll be a great show for everybody. So check that out on MM2K Videos channel next week. I think we're going to shoot it at 8 p.m. If we can get it at 7, we'll see. But those brothers are on a different time zone, so we'll see. So stay tuned for that. And that is it. And now we go to the juicy part, juicy fruit of the show. Project Storm, what have you been playing since last episode?
Hey, man, I really haven't played anything.
Oh, you's a damn lie. You know you's a lie.
Hey, can you imagine that, bro? I want y'all to sit back and imagine that. Close your eyes and imagine Project Storm. You know what I'm saying? 2K, 4K, 5K, MM2K, exactly. And 8K. Imagine me not out here playing these games, man. I'm up here telling y'all to play these games, which games are hiding all that, and which games I'm having a good time with. Imagine me not playing. But look, on some real, look, man, I'm going to start off with it. And I have to say it because I think it is slated to come to Stadia. Correct me if I'm wrong, but we're talking about Dirt 5.
Mm-hmm.
Now, why the hell is Project Storm talking about Dirt 5? Didn't they tell us on consoles that Dirt 5 was messed up? They patched it up and all this stuff, and it was janky, and the headlights on the cars wasn't looking right and all that. Now, I will say, I played the game on PC. And if it's anything like that on the Series X or whatever, man, I can't wait for it to come to Stadia for y'all to experience the greatness that I played last night. Project Kill was in the building. He knows what I'm talking about. Hey, look, it was just something so special about the game that I had to just say, I gave it a 9 right off the rip because of the way it feels, the way the cars sound. Like,
that's major.
Codemasters does their thing, man, when it comes to these racers and like the little intricate details and stuff. And Dirt 5 blew me the hell away, man. Like, it's up there. It's up there with one of the best racers that I've ever played as far as how the cars handle and everything, the graphics, the track, the designs of the tracks, the weather, time of day, all that. Stupid. I also jumped into Doom 3, man. We're going to talk about, as you can see in the title, we're going to talk about the Bethesda Big Bang that occurred with Xbox. And I got a chance to experience Doom 3. That's one of the games in the series that I have not completed. So I want to finish that up. And I will be doing that on Series X, where the game is optimized or whatever to run at a crispy 4K, 60 FPS, at least 60. I didn't do a count or anything like that, but it was smooth as hell. I know it was 60. And I also been playing, man. I jumped on, the usual games, a little bit of PUBG. I'm losing track, man. So many, it's just so many games that I've just been on. But Dirt 5 is the highlight of this weekend because it blew me the hell away, man. Control on PC. Stadia, of course, I was on the Doom Eternal, the new DLC. All right. I was on some PUBG on that as well as PC, man. Like, just bouncing around, enjoying games, man. And speaking of games, we're gonna get into it because there's some games that's coming up soon on the Stadia platform. But I'll wait for that part. I won't jump the gun, man.
Yeah.
But seriously, Dirt 5, I'm looking forward to it, and it is slated to come to Stadia, right?
Yeah, it is slated to come. Now that one was later, and that's one of the games that didn't drop day and date, but they're gonna work on it. And hopefully when the Stadia port comes, it's one to behold. So hopefully. And I'm glad that it's coming later because, as you know, Storm, and we were talking about this before the show, Dirt had a lot of controversy with it because of how it performed on the Xbox Series X and all this other stuff. With that being said, if it performs that well on PC, hopefully, because it'll be a PC port, that the Stadia version will be worked on, will be enhanced, and will be reminiscent of what we got with Cyberpunk 2077 opposed to what the consoles got. The new consoles do have the new generation version, so there's only so much you can expect, but still hopefully we get a good port nonetheless.
Man, if there's anything like what I played last night, I'm telling y'all, drop that whatever amount that is going to cost. If you like racers, and I'm telling you, I'm confident right now in saying that it is one of the best racers that I have touched.
Wow.
And that's with Forza Horizon 4 and all that, man. It's just something special about it. Now, I did forget one. I told you I played so many games, man. I jumped on Dishonored 2. That
Yep.
was another part of that Bethesda move. I had already experienced the game, but I have not completed the second game. I beat the first one, not the second one. Dishonored 2 was also a whole lot of fun slicing and dicing things up, using the powers as Emily and all that stuff, man. Y'all got to check that out.
Mm-hmm. Okay. You know what? Me personally, I'm a big Bethesda fan. I love most of their games. I don't like games from Arcane. I don't like Arcane Studios for some reason. And I'm not saying that to hate. I'm not a big fan of them for whatever reason. So
and they made Prey, right?
They're they made Prey. Okay. And I haven't tried Prey yet, but
and see, Prey was kind of it wasn't lit to me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I give it a solid 8. I can see why people like it and love it, but you're right.
Still solid though. It's still solid though. Yeah, a lot of people like them. I'm not a big stealthy guy, and a lot of their gameplay. I remember when I played the first Dishonored. Yes, you can go balls to the wall. Excuse my French. you can go blasting and shooting everybody away and stuff like that, and go straight aggro. But they heavily punish you for doing it, right? Where a game like BioShock, which is what I guess the Arcane games are a spiritual successor of, you can be stealthy or you can go bees to the wall, right? And it's just all about balls, you being, man. Ball. You know, but you know, Storm, people, what balls to the wall? That's so that's you know what I'm saying. Oh, that's so this and that, and all MM2K and Project Storm, or that, you know what I'm saying.
But you once told me, man, this right here is for grown-ups. You know what I'm saying?
That is true. So no, we're not trying to be chauvinistic here. But it is a term, balls to the walls. Okay, so we're going balls to the walls in the gameplay. That's what I like to do. Think of BioShock and Arcane games, to me, too often punish you when you do that. You know, where the BioShock games, you could go stealthy or you could do that. It's just you had to be smart enough. If you were going to go all aggro, then you better have all of the power-ups and stuff to support an all aggro approach. And if you were going to go stealthy, the same thing. I don't get that feeling with Arcane games, so that's why I'm not the biggest fan of them. But what else you got? What else you have on the docket, Storm?
Hey, look, man. Well, I'll tell you what I have coming up. Because I never really get a chance to talk about this, man. But I really want to I want to take on the Stadia library, y'all. I want y'all to stay with me, right? I'm going to do this challenge, right? And during this challenge, I'm going to try to play every game in the Stadia library in one stream. Now, that's coming up very soon, y'all. You know me. You have to be subscribed to the channel because I don't even know when things might kick off because the storm is unpredictable, right? As I always say. But I want to try to take on the entire Stadia library in one stream, MM2K. Now, the longest stream I've ever done was probably about 5 hours, man. So I'm not doing a 24-hour stream. That is a hell no. It's not going to happen. No. Shout out to everybody that's made that happen. Eddie, Link, Meg, and everybody else, right? Absolutely. I can't do it, and I know I can't do it. So what I'm going to try to do is just do like maybe 15 to 20 minutes on every game. Maybe a little less or more depending on the game and if I get stuck or something. I don't know, y'all, but stay tuned for that in the near future if you want to check that out. Check out Project Storm, sub to the channel, you know what I mean, and do all that good stuff. And hey, I'll try to send out a notice beforehand before I go live. That's all I can say. But other than that, man, it's just been a whole lot of just talking, whole lot of conversation. And this Bethesda piece, you see, some people are already like, I'm sure, like, wait a minute, man, this is Stadia. This is an SML podcast. And Bethesda's in the title.
Yeah. Well,
so
go ahead. Oh, you break it down.
I just want to, prep people right now because it's going to get deep. It's going to get real, and there's a very important reason for bringing this up and mentioning everything that we're going to be talking about today.
Yep. So here's the thing too, and multiple content creators have had to say this, Storm, and I get it. Because this is a great segue too into the new platform that we have devised here. I get it that a lot of people are like, y'all come to us because y'all like talking about Stadia, where if you go elsewhere, people aren't being fair in their conversations about Stadia. Not that you guys always wanted positive. You guys just want a fair conversation about Stadia, and you don't get it elsewhere. And I get that. Here's the thing, though. We're gamers in totality, meaning we play everything. And because we play everything, at times you're going to get our takes on everything. Like SML, for the most part, is a Stadia podcast. And we could contrast a lot of things to Stadia because we understand that's what at the core of the community. But it's also good, we feel, to again do that contrasting to other platforms. So we'll talk about other platforms here. So even though we're talking about Bethesda, we're talking about it in the vein as, all right, this is what's going on in the gaming ethos and how is it going to affect Stadia as well. So yeah, sometimes you do got to open up your horizons to other platforms and then bring it on back home to understand how it may affect you. With that said, that's a perfect segue, Storm, into our next venture, which is the Cloud Gamer Chronicles. Now, we stealth dropped that announcement yesterday, and I'm glad to see that people have responded that are part of the members. We got a good number of the members that responded back and said, hey, look, we got some thoughts about this. Some people hit some thumbs down or whatever, and I think that's due to people thinking that we're trying to abandon Stadia. No, as I said in the precursor to the warm-up to the Gamer Chronicles, we're not trying to abandon Stadia. This is additional content to Stadia. But what we want to do, Storm, and we've talked about this before, is we want to throw our hats in the ring because we have a concern about how the cloud gaming spectrum is being reported altogether. I'm not 100% sure that people are looking at cloud gaming hold on, let me see something there because it's cutting up. My alert system is cutting up. Okay, yeah, we might have to pause it if it keeps doing it. Sorry about that, y'all. But yeah, we're concerned that the cloud gaming community isn't being given the news with fairness in mind across the board. And again, I'm not trying to attack anybody. I brought this up last night, that often what we see people do is they take their own conjecture or their own opinions and they try to make it fact across the board. The simple fact that we see channels like Sunny Cloud Gaming,
shout out,
Nerd Nest,
shout out,
Generation State, the majority of these cloud platforms that focus majority of their efforts on Stadia are the biggest channels of all the cloud platforms. Like, for instance, GFN has been around forever in cloud years. It's been around since 2017. GFN creators don't have channels as large as Stadia does. Why? Because Stadia as a cloud platform just has more engagements from a community social media standpoint. So with that being said, if you look at the cloud news, you will think it's otherwise. You would think that GFN has the biggest numbers as far as social media activity and people with interest and likes of the platform, and Stadia was at the bottom. And so the news doesn't represent the reality. And because the news doesn't represent the reality, we're throwing our hats in the ring because we want an opportunity to try to balance that out. Okay,
and then there's the flip side. And
go ahead,
after
brother.
you're done, that I want to
go ahead, brother.
Into, man.
No,
right,
absolutely.
So there's another side. You all hear me, for example. I'm gonna put myself in this boat. Project Storm is always out here trying to give you all the best take. I try to, when I do a stream as live, so you don't have to worry about me like tweaking anything, finagling behind the scenes and everything to try to sway my, your opinion or my opinion either way. So it's like, in order to do, if I'm going to be talking about Luna, if I'm going to be talking about GFN, if I'm going to be talking about, Shadow's not dead yet, y'all. You know what I'm saying? If I'm going to be talking about Shadow, if I'm going to be talking about maximum settings and everything else, right? Then I xCloud, then I very well better be spending time on these things. If I'm up here questioning why the people who are out here, 95% of them are not playing Stadia for hours, they're not putting the hours in, then I very well better be playing on these services. That's just my take. Might not be able to do the same thing because of connection and because I just heard something. I keep hearing different things, and I was talking to a buddy of mine, good friend from out in Oakland, and he keeps saying like, "Yo, man, GFN is in beta. Stadia's, that we talk about strengths and weaknesses, right? Just to let y'all know, and that's just one example. But then I keep hearing things like, yeah, because GFN is in beta and Luna's still in beta, then they get a pass.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, Stadia was in beta, and some people still consider it as a beta, right? Some people, even in the community that's well respected, have still said that they see Stadia right now in beta form and all this. And I say, no, I think Stadia was in beta during their Assassin's Creed trials and all that. Yep. So that's what Google said. That's what they considered it as. So that's what I go with. But hey, whatever you think, it is what it is. The bottom line here is, though, I feel like we should be trying, the people who are trying to inform should be trying all of these services if you can now, if you can. And from what I understand, a majority of them are free. So why not? So I just want my opinion to be well-rounded. I want to stream more Luna. I want to stream more GFN. But if it's not working right, you're going to see that live. I can't pull out a magical unicorn that helps me, make GeForce Now in 4K and Luna in 4K and running well when I'm streaming at 4K and all that. But I could do that with Stadia. It just works like that. So what you're going to be seeing from me is just me experiencing these services or whatever as they were intended. And that's all I could do. So I wanted to throw that in as well.
No, that's a great, that helps bring it home, Storm, and I'm glad you did that, because what it illustrates is that, look, we want to make sure that the news is balanced and looking at everything in a fair trajectory. And we also want to show we're putting our money where our mouth is. We don't want people to just sit there and say, oh, MM2K Project Storm, when you have something negative to say, you're only doing it to try to counterbalance Stadia negative news. No, it's not about that. Like, look, when I first got Stadia, I tell this story 1,000 times over. When I first got Stadia, or when I first went and ordered my Stadia, I too was almost affected by the negative news. There's a tweet that I have out there. I've showed it to you guys 1,000 times too, to where I ranked what I expected all the cloud services to be. I first put GFN number 1, I put Shadow number 2, and I didn't expect Stadia but to be number 3. You know what I'm saying? When I got Stadia, it leapfrogged to number 1. And it wasn't about me wanting to double down on Stadia because I have to double down on Stadia. No, I'm a gamer with a capital G. I just want the truth to be representative about what's really going out there in these gaming streets. And I don't think the news is doing that. The news, as it's being reported, makes it sound like that, a thing that we hear often now, as of late within the last week or so, was that so many people are leaving the platform, so the platform is in trouble. I don't think that we realize that even on a bad day, from numbers that I've seen that were really when the platform was way less popular than it is now, even with the closure of SG&E, it'll never be as unpopular as it was at launch, right? But even in those days, Stadia was getting around almost 2,000 engagements a day. So even if we see in posts where you might have 10, 15, 20 people leaving a day, that's that. Y'all can't think of this in a vacuum. For every 10, 15, 20 people that might leave a day, maybe even 100, maybe even 200, there is, out of that 2,000, there's a bigger potential that are going to get it and stay. So, and that's not being represented in the news reporting. And again, why is that happening? Because I think too much of the news, quote unquote news, is being cascaded from situations where it's tough in those situations to separate your own personal bias from what's going on across the board. We're going to do that with the Cloud Gamer Chronicles. We're going to separate our own personal bias from what's going on in actuality, in totality. How do we do that? One thing we're going to do is we're going to get minds that are staunch in those particular areas for each platform. And there's other things we're going to do too. We have a hellified litmus chart that we're going to run by. If you listened to our podcast last night for the members, you would have noticed that. You would have seen, wow, they're really like going into depth about how they describe this and what the litmuses are. Yes, and we're going to flesh it out even more. So there really has to be a real strong effort to want to tell the reality of what's going on in the gaming streets, along with tell all the good news and all the bad news. And we're going to talk about that when we get into the part about why we're not really hearing a lot of information, or a lot of talk, at least, even debate about this Stadia game jam that's happening today. To me, it's kind of mind-boggling. But right. Before we move on to Bethesda, what do you think about that, Storm? Why do you think that there's just this knee-jerk reaction to take Stadia and want to compare it to PlayStation and Xbox, and if it doesn't stand up to PlayStation and Xbox, it's a failure? But when GFN or Shadow or Amazon do something, it's like, oh no, they're in beta. Or, oh no, well, they're just a cloud platform. They get compared in a smaller prism like they should, but Stadia always gets compared in a bigger prism, even though their head of games told you, we belong in a smaller prism right now. It's going to be years before we can compete. But even though he said that, Storm, why do you think that these entities still do that?
Well, I've said it time after time, man. Here it is. So people didn't expect that Stadia was going to succeed tech-wise. We'll just put it on the tech right now first, right? People didn't expect Stadia to come out here swinging and succeed and shine the way that it does, to the point where it really made every other competitor sit up and take heed and listen and copy from the playbook and everything of Google Stadia, right? They didn't expect that to happen. It took the industry by storm. It took the world by storm. The gaming world as we know it got caught off guard, and Stadia did not go the way of OnLive or other services that have tried this thing. You know what I'm saying? And I love OnLive, so that's no shot, no dig. You know what I mean? Shout out to OnLive. If I had, matter of fact, let me try to find one of those controllers so I could keep it as a classic. But here's the deal. So because Stadia is out here offering up to 4K gaming, and it's not just me that's talking about this, MM2K, about how well Stadia works. You're starting to see more articles, more journalists, more publications, more YouTubers talking about the fact that Stadia, the tech is just everything from it's great to phenomenal. You know what I mean? And that's why, because it works. Again, now I will say this, it's opinion based. Okay. Luna is in beta, not even in the same league. You know how I know that? Because gamers are saying that. That's what they're saying. Luna's in beta. So we're going to take it right. So for example, since Luna's in beta, you can't even put Luna in a discussion with Stadia right now. It's not fair, right? So GeForce Now is still in beta. Is it still in beta? Because GeForce Now is in
GeForce
beta
Now.
All right, so it's out of beta now, right? Yep. See, I don't even know, because it's kind of like I keep hearing from people that, well, it's still in beta, and it's not even in beta. So GeForce Now is still behind the curve because it's not up to 4K yet. And you're talking about, this is NVIDIA, people. NVIDIA, who owns the RTX cards and all this other stuff, and they're still not up to 4K or even 2K resolution, right? 1440p. So they're not on it's not like the playing field is not even. So because of this fact, people are going to naturally hate on Stadia. They're going to be like, well, if PlayStation had the tech, or if you give Nintendo the tech, or if xCloud could just get the Stadia tech, they just need to, So you start hearing more things like that because you can't deny the tech. So then people started screaming, where are the games? The tech is great, but man, the games are not there yet. And I do agree. Not all games are not. Call of Duty is not there yet. Apex and all these other games that people want to play, Fallout, Fall Guys and all this stuff, Valheim. These games are not on the Stadia platform yet, but Stadia is still young,
Yeah.
see, people forget the age of Stadia.
Yeah.
They want it to automatically be on the level with Xbox and PlayStation because some people feel like Stadia is targeted toward the consoles. So why not put them in the same bracket as the consoles in every facet of the game? So it's because of this. A lot of people misunderstand these things, man, and they just can't grasp the concept of Stadia working so well and Stadia having a community.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I want to shout out a big YouTuber, man, 6.36 million subscribers last time I checked, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's Gamer Ranks. Y'all might have heard of him, the guy that breaks down things before you buy and all that stuff. Shout out.
Shout out to him.
Just did a video recently, and I remember in the first 30 seconds of that video, him saying, and I'm paraphrasing, hey, we were harsh on Stadia in the beginning, but now we wanted to jump back in because, you know, Stadia has a community, and the community kept us on task. You know,
his
like
words.
So yeah, his words. Now, so when I hear stuff like that, it's kind of like, wow. So people do recognize that Stadia, it exists. Mm-hmm. It is still alive. And now it has a community of people who care. So now we want to be fair to the Stadia community. Y'all need to check that video out. I'll drop a link before at some point during the show.
Yep.
Check that out, man, because it's starting to put things in a better perspective. And in that video, he talks about how great Stadia runs and how well it ran Cyberpunk in comparison to other platforms and how they have delivered, Google has delivered on features and all this stuff that you keep hearing more and more of now. Yep. And see, that's another reason, that's another example why we had to call out the facts, because if we don't, we're going to look stupid, right?
Yeah.
So do you, I'm asking you now live, do you want to run the risk of looking stupid and like you haven't, vetted? We're not journalists and everything, but I still want to use the term because it's cool as hell.
I got you.
You didn't vet a damn thing, You didn't vet a damn thing, but you came out here, started showing articles and giving your thoughts on everything. Do you want to be that guy?
Exactly. No, absolutely not.
Yeah, I'm
absolutely
done.
Not.
I'm done.
Absolutely not. No, and the point of you bringing that up is solid. It's so solid, Storm, because here's the thing. You and I joke about this all the time, man. We were even joking about this before we even went live on air. Like me and you are just two lowly guys, two modest guys that's just trying to live our life, play our video games, love our tech, and convince our wives to leave us the hell alone while we do it. Right.
Well, my wife is pretty good at it. Shout out. You know what I'm saying? She's good.
Yeah, my wife needs to sit with your wife. I love my wife, but she needs to sit, especially after the date. Oh man, but I ain't gonna get into that one. So
yeah, because she might be listening to the show. Or she's
exactly.
Not listening to my
son, she probably listen.
I want that 8K TV. You know what I'm saying? She got the SUV. She'll go up there and pick it up for me and everything, curbside. Man, my wife, she's not perfect, but I give her that.
I'm still on punishment. But with that said, though, what I don't understand, Storm, is that we appreciate everything that you guys give to us, like Chase hitting up the super chat and Project Kill and the homie Rome and the members. Shout out to Sean L.
Word.
The homie Rev became a member. We had one more member last night too. It loses me, and I apologize, and that's all going to show right now. I appreciate and love all of y'all. But we don't have the resources of a Digital Foundry, of a Kotaku, of a Jason Schreier, or even some of the larger internal channels that do this reporting, right? So why is it, Storm, time after time? I got to bring out to Cindy. Why is it time after time? Me and you keep coming up with articles that show a well-rounded scope of what's going on with Stadia, but all these entities with a lot more resources can't. Why? Because we are doing the due diligence. It's just elbow grease. That's all. That's the only collateral that we have. That's the only commodity that we have in our favor, is that we're doing the elbow grease, the blood, sweat, and tears to find this stuff. So we put everything out on the table, and that's not the MO out there in general, and that's a shame. So, like Storm said, the purpose of this new platform isn't to pivot away from Stadia. Oh, hell no. Stadia is going to be my favorite place to play. But I felt like that it was important to get together with like-minded people that appreciate cloud gaming in general and talk about this news in a way that I think hasn't been done consistently yet. And that's looking at and like dropping it down to the very last molecule, Like I'm gonna throw something out there, Storm. I feel some type of way. I love the fact that the Outriders demo is on GFN. I love that. That's a great grab by GFN. So that's a great positive there. But on the flip side of that, I feel some type of way that I can't play GFN on a regular dongle like everybody else can play Shadow, Stadia, Amazon, even freaking xCloud you can sideload on a dongle and it plays, fairly decent. I'm upset that I can't do that with GFN. GFN is just an Android streaming app just like those other ones. And in the answer of me not being able to play them on a dongle, I'm told I got to buy a $200 unit. I might as well get an Xbox. So again, those are the type of things to where you apply GFN for what it does right and what it does great. But then at the same time, if you're being fair and you're looking at it at a cloud platform, the way you should look at all of these, not as something that's ready yet to compete with Xbox or PlayStation, when you look at these things as cloud platforms, you got to pull out and you got to extract the bad too and point it out and say, look, y'all been out before everybody else. There is no reason why I can't fire you up on my Fire TV or my Google TV. And I need a $200 dongle or $200 Android box or TV or NVIDIA Shield in order to play you on my TV. To me, that's unacceptable. So,
but wait, MM2K, you and Project Storm don't be keeping it real. Y'all just be capping for Stadia. So can you get the people anytime one example, maybe two of a time when we held Stadia accountable as well?
Hey, bro,
does that happen? Has that ever happened in your mind? Can you remember a time?
We've done it the whole.
Please share that with the people, man.
Hey, bro, we've done that. We can create a whole show about that. Let me.
But if you don't have two examples, we never did it, bro.
Oh yeah, we're not with Shields. You didn't know that Google is paying us. Look, first and foremost, I can tell you 2 points of contention where we both was like, "Yo, what the hell's going on here?" Number one was Serious Sam, and I did that live on air.
Oh man!
And then my brother chimed in too. He's like, "Oh yo, I gotta get on this. I gotta get on this ass whooping." He said, "No, I gotta get some licks too." We went in on Serious Sam, bro. You know what I'm saying?
And I remember you holding the big dog accountable, Phil Harrison, man. Do you remember that recently?
Yes. I was holding the big dog, Phil Harrison. Well, before I get into that, I want to show another one where we were both in unison with Far Cry 5. When Far Cry 5 came out, we were like, oh! And even with Amazon Luna, we give Luna its props. And we're not giving that excuse of beta excuse. I may have talked about the data collection phase as far as contrasting the slow moves that cloud gaming is making altogether versus console. That's why I say it's not even a fair fight right now, because they got to build up their AI and machine learning. That's the purpose of that. However, when I contrast Amazon versus Stadia, we just put out there, Storm, that even though when you went live, there may have been some things that didn't, jive up, as far as Amazon being better than Stadia in some regards. In other regards, it was better. Like, the Ubisoft games, their performance at 1080p on Amazon, it's a shame that they're that good on, well, I won't say that good, but they're the way that they are on Amazon opposed to how they are on Stadia. You know what I'm saying? Like, Ubisoft should be ashamed of themselves on how they handled some of these ports post Division 2. We've said that. We've got on Stadia and Ubisoft about that. Now, as far as me calling out Phil Harrison, I called out Phil Harrison in the messaging about SG&E. You want to flip it a year ago? I talked about how I didn't think that the 10.7 teraflops was the greatest messaging the way they put it out. But my brother, Project Storm, disagreed. He said, hey, look, MM2K, don't forget about gamers like me. I care about that stuff. So that's an example of being across the board on stuff, man. And we're not seeing this. We're seeing people that are frustrated with Stadia. This is what it is, Storm. They're frustrated with Stadia.
Hey, break it down. We're going to get into the show, y'all. But listen, we got to cover this. This is the show. But we had to cover these things, man. They're pressing. Let's go.
They're frustrated with Stadia. And so they hop onto the new platform. And the new platform is getting either no press or good press because everybody wants to hammer it on Stadia, and they don't want to hear what MM2K or Project Storm got to say, or anybody else that's going to contribute to the Cloud Gamer Chronicles. They don't want to hear what we got to say because they want to be able to game in peace. Well, this is what you're going to have to do. I suggest that if you're a cloud gamer, you go to your local GNC, you ask for a big ass bottle of vitamin E and you develop some thick skin. Because this ain't it. This ain't it. I told y'all about a battle that I had with my brother Porter Rock where I couldn't be mad at him. He said, look, what y'all cloud gamers got to recognize is that y'all ain't ready for this stage yet against PlayStation or even Xbox. Why? Because y'all sitting there bragging and boasting about 6 million on GFN, which I've done as well. Y'all bragging and boasting about 6 million on GFN. In a bad year at launch, PlayStation did 8 million, and that 6 million of GFN could be inflated for the simple fact that those aren't all paying people. Most of those people are people that are playing on the free tier. He said, man, if you don't get your ass out of here, MM2K with that. So again, none of these cloud platforms yet are ready to get on the big stage yet. So when you're talking about ups and downs, gaps in performance and this and that, you got to do it from a fathomable level, even with Stadia. I get it. A lot of people had a lot of thoughts towards Stadia, and y'all thoughts were just misplaced. That's all. Some of my thoughts were misplaced. That's all. Get over it. If you go to a new platform, great. But you got to judge Stadia primarily on how it's doing in the cloud status, and then you can on the side say, well, let's measure how close they're getting to being able to go against PlayStation. Nah, they're not there yet. But if you're going to do that with Stadia, you got to do that with GFN. You got to do that with Amazon. You got to do it with Shadow. You got to do it with all of them. That's all we're saying. So, any other thoughts before we finally get to the show? That's 46 minutes of non-show.
Hey, look. I wanted to do one more, but I'll if we have time, I'll throw it in there.
We'll get back into it. We'll get you know how we do. Because it was part of the show anyway.
Let's jump into the first major topic of the day.
All right, first major topic is Bethesda. My God, my God, my God. You know what? Y'all know how I feel, Chat and Storm, about Microsoft. Y'all know I ain't the biggest Xbox fan right now. But again, this is taking my own personal emotions out of it and realizing how this has impact on the broader demographic, okay? So when you look at the console demographic, all I can say is that the way that Xbox has marketed this finalization of Bethesda being part of Xbox has been spot on. Here are the questions, though. There are questions. When Phil equivocally or unequivocally said, hey, look, we did this deal for exclusive titles. So unless it's contractual, or if it's a legacy title, it's going to be exclusive to Game Pass and Xbox, and where Game Pass is at, right? To me, that still left the door open to exclusive games. Even in Elder Scrolls 6 maybe could be multi-plat. What the hell is a legacy title? We've never, Storm, me and you ain't never talked about no damn games as legacy. And Phil Spencer knows that. So he does that regularly. This is the same guy that just a few months before that told you that exclusivity wasn't the way of the Xbox brand. He said that in the article. Exclusivity. Or how's it goes?
Exclusivity.
Exclusivity.
Hey, boy.
I keep forgetting I'm dealing with the school teacher here.
Hey man.
Exclusivity.
Hey, but we make up our own damn words. That's the bottom line. You know what I'm saying? We make up our own damn words. The exclusivity isn't something that Xbox is looking forward to. He just said that a few months ago. The CFO, just a few months before that, said we're not looking to take it. So we don't know where the hell this is going to land. And time after time, Phil Spencer has said stuff, oh yeah, this is critical to what we're going to do. And he's changed his mind in a heartbeat. Remember, I ain't got to sell you a console. He made it sound like that at the beginning of this generation, they weren't going to sell it. So we don't know what's going to happen. But here's 2 points that I want to say. I think that despite all that, Storm,
They
Yeah.
marketed this ingeniously, and if they play their cards right, they can really close the gap that is between them and PlayStation if they play their cards right, and if these games are hot fire that come out from Bethesda, which a lot of people hope they are. But we got to remember that when this purchase was made, Bethesda had underperformed in all of its recent games, all of them. Within the games within a 2-year span, they underperformed, and that's why they went from a 9.5 billion value to a 7.5 billion value, and Microsoft was able to buy them, shaving off $2 billion. So, with that said, Storm, my question to you is: A, what do you think about the whole exclusive talk? B, how big of a deal is this, regardless of that, altogether?
Well, this is a good question, man. And I think it's going to be something that takes a little bit of time, man. Because as I bounce this thing back, I would like for you to then, share your thoughts on it, man. Because we need to start trying to iron this out. Because see, we keep talking about messaging here, right?
Yep.
Messaging is the key. Stadia needs to do better with messaging. Here's another example we have to go back to when it comes to Stadia, man. People demand clear messaging. They deserve clear messaging.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? The pitchforks come out about Stadia's messaging. But Xbox right now, y'all, has people wondering, is what Phil just said, does that mean that this could come to PlayStation maybe one day? Him and Jim and Ryan has been seen talking together, and maybe the Xbox's goal is to get it on PlayStation as a platform and Nintendo as a platform, and then Game Pass can just take over the damn world. You know what I mean? Now, as a company, I'm sure that's what Microsoft would want. Yep. So it leads me to think in that manner, right? It leads me to say, oh, shit. Stadia's out here trying to set up the stage to corner the world, and Microsoft is doing the same damn thing. And Amazon with AWS could be doing the same damn thing. And GeForce now with NVIDIA and all that stuff could be doing the same thing. So again, this is why I can't wait for the Cloud Gaming Chronicles to kick off, man, because this is an example, I hope, of what we're going to be conversing about, right? So here it is. What it led me to think, is that, yes, somehow, some way, Phil Spencer could be talking to people about getting Game Pass on these platforms. Now they have the 8 ball in their corner, man.
Yeah.
They could say now, if you all want your gamers to play the latest Elder Scrolls game or Doom game or Fallout game or Prey game or whatever, then y'all might have to look into hollering at us about getting Game Pass on your platform.
Yeah, exactly.
Or else you're going to have billions of gamers now who are going to miss out.
Yep.
Now, Phil has also said in the same messaging that he loves these platforms. He used the word love. I love these platforms. And Phil has said a number of times how he talked about exclusivity, MM2K, and how exclusivity doesn't really, and he didn't say this, but it's not the best thing for gamers at times. You know what I mean? And I feel the same way because, but that's a whole nother discussion. Maybe we'll get into that on the Cloud Gaming Chronicles. So, but my point is, it left a lot of people wondering what the hell that meant. For the future of certain games, for the future of Game Pass, you know what I'm saying? For the future of xCloud and everything else, man. The future of Xbox as a whole. The messaging wasn't very clear. It did say to some Xbox gamers, though, it did, and I get this, that yes, there will be games that he said anywhere that you could use Game Pass, pretty much. Some of those games will be there. Some of those games will be there, not all. But I don't know, man. That's just how I feel. My initial thoughts is just that it's still not very clear. Even though, like, Xbox fans, of course, are going to say, oh, shit, it's clear enough to me. Yeah, it just means that, if you want to play these games, you're going to have to play them on Game Pass. But that's not what I heard as a consumer that's inside of the Xbox ecosystem, but also outside from a consumer's angle, So that's just what my take on the whole thing. What about your thoughts, man?
Yeah, my thoughts are very similar. Again, in covering Phil Spencer since 18 when I first came in this game, when I was a serious Xbox fanboy. And my first video was Phil Spencer got a promotion, and I'm not celebrating, meaning because Phil Spencer does a lot of this double talk. A lot of the double talk that I have been tasked to do as a manager, as someone with pretty much a VP status in my place of employment. When having to deal with press and having to deal with people and clients calling in and stuff like that, it's a savviness that I've had to, and I'm putting spin on it by using the word savvy, but it's a double talk that I've had to endure and participate in to try to tread a fine line from saying what I'm really going to do opposed to what I want you to believe. You see what I'm saying? You feel me? And that's what we're getting a lot of times when we hear Phil Spencer speak. So I'm not surprised that people are like, well, hold on. Legacy? What the hell? We've never heard that term before. What do you mean by that? And I don't mind people held to fill the task. I think it's reasonable, though, to believe that the vast majority of the games, I'm not mad at anybody that believes that the vast majority of the games, if not all the future games, except games as a service, are coming exclusively. I'm not mad at anybody saying that. And the safe thing to say is, hey, look, if you want a guaranteed way to access all Bethesda games, then get Game Pass. There's nothing wrong with saying any of those things. However, what Phil likes to do is he likes to say, look, I'm going to say this right now. Remember, it's a matter of scaling up and scaling down, and anybody that says otherwise is just a fanboy. Remember that? And then just a few months later, he had to push back on that and say, yeah, well, maybe scaling up and scaling down causes concessions. I broke that news when he was on Gamer Tag Radio. So this is Phil Spencer that we're talking about. So I see a lot of y'all out here in the ethos talking about, but Phil said, and you guys are pulling at, you guys are trying to play semantics. No, this is Phil we're talking about. With all that said, though, I am going to say that the biggest impact is when you look at those 20 games that dropped on Game Pass yesterday.
Oh,
and I want to get your thoughts on this.
Do allow me to talk about those.
I want you to talk about this because you got an extension of this thought process. But my thing is that even though those are games that I've already played, I really don't give two monkey rats asses about going to Xbox and playing at 30 frames per second, or if I want to play at 60 frames per second, I got to pay $500 because I can already play them at 60 on Stadia. You feel me? Except for ESO. Me wanting to get xCloud for that doesn't move me. What moved me is looking at, they're like, damn, that's 20 games. And 15 of that 20 came out within the last year, maybe year and a half. Bethesda do got a lot of games. So if they keep up at this pace or go even further, yeah, in a few years, Game Pass is going to be stacked. It's going to be a monster to contend with. But I now passed it over to Project Storm to get his thoughts on that but. You know what I'm saying? Storm, what are your thoughts on this?
Man, I remember my thoughts, y'all. Language alert. I'm going to repeat what people have said to me in MM2K. I'm going to repeat again what people have said countless times to me in MM2K, and that is 3, 2, 1. Stadia is dog shit.
Yeah.
Stadia is dog shit. You know why? Because it has old games. Nobody want to play them old ass games. Stadia is some dog shit. You know what I'm saying? Because Stadia they're getting them old ass games that we already played.
Yeah.
Now, this is no shot right here. I'm an Xbox fan. You see my videos out there. I love my Series X, right? Mm-hmm. But I was not happy about when the smoke settled MM2K and I went to PC and I said, oh yeah, I got Game Pass Ultimate. They just take my $15 every month, whether I'm playing on Game Pass or not. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? They just take my $15 because it's the best deal in gaming. That's what we're hearing. And it is for a lot of people who haven't played those games, right? But when I started looking at the list, for some reason, I was looking for that new game that I really haven't played yet.
Yep.
And I came back to the Doom games, some of them from decades ago. I came back to Prey that I've already completed, got the achievements to prove all of this. All you got to do is just hit my account up. You know what I'm saying? You can see it for yourself. I've already beat Doom Eternal. Y'all know that's one of my favorite games on Stadia to play, still to this day. And I've beaten that one on Stadia in the cloud. That was supposed to be impossible. Okay. Then we go over to the Morrowinds and all of that stuff. And I'm like, I beat Oblivion. It's the favorite one of all. That's my favorite Elder Scrolls based game of all time. Oblivion. The storyline was spectacular. That's all I'll say. So for me, I was like, damn, there's nothing in there for me.
Yep.
There's really nothing in there except for the content creation side of things, which is why I played Doom 3. Another reason I played Doom 3 first yesterday is because that's one of the ones that I haven't completed. I played it on my PC, but I had a garbage PC at the time and I couldn't max it out. Because I couldn't max it out, I didn't want to play it. So I never finished Doom 3. But these are examples that of gamers like myself who will look at these games. I've already beat Skyrim.
Yeah.
I knocked that out. You know what I'm saying? I don't care about the mods and all that stuff because the mods, I can't get achievement points and everything when I play with the mods on my Xbox or on PC. So that's what I'm saying. It's kind of like people are raving about this move, but that move is still not doing anything for Xbox, in my opinion, right now.
Exactly.
Except it is getting the attention of the would-be gamers who have not come over yet, who loves the Bethesda titles. It's going to get the attention of those gamers, and I guess that's huge, but we'll see what the numbers say because they do put their Game Pass numbers out there. So that's just how I feel about it, y'all. I mean, imagine, you know, you say you hear that 20 games are coming. You don't know which 20 is coming. So then when you look at the list, you're like, damn, I beat all these.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. So, you know what I'm saying? Imagine, so it's no celebration.
Yeah.
There's no celebration there for a gamer like me. That's all I'm trying to say. And if I feel that way, there has to be 100,000 more people somewhere in the universe that feels that way, man.
Yeah. What Bethesda is doing is creating a lot of water cooler talk right now. I mean, it's great to sit there and be like, oh, I can't wait till Christmas. I can't wait till Christmas in January. But you're doing that in January. You still got the rest of the year to go through. With Bethesda, it's not even the rest of the year, unless Starpoint does come out this year, right? And that's just one game. PlayStation 5 is getting 2 games. They're getting 2 Bethesda games exclusively. So even though you can sit there and say, oh, I can't wait till Christmas. I can't wait till Christmas. Even though you're doing that right now, Storm, it's going to be another year, another 2 years, maybe even longer before this deal comes to fruition. And what do you do between then when you're asked to pay $500 right now?
Right.
So that's why, even though I say Stadia is not ready to, in full blast, be put on the big stage, it does have a lot of offerings for gaming in general. If you just want to get your hands on a good number of the top-notch games that are out there, and all this talk about, well, Bethesda did this, so Stadia's dead. When are these Bethesda games dropping?
I'm gonna ask you. Hold on, I'm gonna ask you to correct something. You said $500, but when they hit us over the head with the Stadia talk and all that, when they fire back at us, man, it's not so nice. They say you got to pay for the Premier Edition first, then you got to pay $9.99 a month to play on Stadia. Then you got to buy the games at full price. So can you please throw in that they got to pay that $15 to be a Game Pass Ultimate if they want to play on both platforms, Xbox and PC? They got that $15 got to come out every month. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm paying right now.
Not even. So
I mean, it just sounds. It doesn't sound too smart in my opinion when people talk like that.
Not even just that, Storm. You get more options with Game Pass. I mean, you get more options with Stadia. You know, as far as the business model is concerned, for either $0 or $10 if you want 4K. See, look at it like this, okay? And when you compare Game Pass, reasonably, you got to compare it to xCloud.
Right.
Reasonably, you can't do a 1v1. Y'all can't keep playing this game of where y'all comparing Stadia and Stadia only to Xbox. Because y'all don't play that game with GFN. Y'all don't play that game with Luna. And I don't want to hear that they're in beta or they're in Meta or Schmeta. All of them are asking y'all to pay money. I remember when I used to say the data collection phase, and y'all used to tell me in contrast, it don't matter. Stadia is asking you to buy stuff. That ish don't matter, right? So I throw that back into y'all lap. It doesn't matter. You're being asked to pay for a product or service, and just slapping on a beta doesn't excuse for there to be incompleteness there, whether it's Stadia, Amazon, or GFN. So with that said, we got to stop playing this game of only time when you want to compare if Stadia is being successful. Well, Stadia ain't got no noteworthy news because Xbox in totality said this about Bethesda. You're not supposed to do that. Stadia, for the majority of for the most of it, is to be compared to other cloud platforms. So when you do it like that, you get things like the game jam that nobody wants to talk about. We'll get into that later. But with that said, Storm, when you do want to look at some of the things that Stadia does do right, like, okay, let me back up a little. Let me just say, I'm gonna make this point real quick.
Go ahead.
So, Storm, me and you got we ain't got two competing shops. You run a Burger King, and I'm vegan. So because I'm vegan, I call it Plant King, right? I call it Plant King. It's inspired by Burger King, but it's a vegan version of Burger King. And let's just say the Impossible Whopper is at my place. It ain't at Burger King because y'all serve real meat, right? So I got the Impossible Whopper, and say that my shtick is the Impossible Whopper, and we guarantee that any order is made to go hot, fresh, in less than 2 minutes. That's a great perspective, right?
Yeah.
However, the vast majority of fast food people aren't vegans. So still the overwhelming majority, you're still sitting back there in your chair, Storm, counting your cash that I'm not ready to see just yet. Because the overwhelming of fast food people are not vegans. They still, the majority of them, 7, 8, 9 out of every 10 are still going to come to you. And even though I serve my food faster, even though I have an Impossible Whopper that tastes like the real Whopper, you're still going to get the majority of the community. The same thing applies to cloud gaming and particularly Stadia. That's why it makes no sense to compare the two. So yes, even though we can contrast Stadia and say, look, with Stadia, when you get the old ass games, you ain't got to pay $500 to get 60 frames per second. Xbox can only guarantee you this frames boost by paying an additional $500. And if you want access to xCloud, which is the real equivalent here, you got to pay $15 to access xCloud, where you get some of the games that are in Game Pass, opposed to with Stadia, if you pay just a simple $10 a month, you get free games every month, you get free quality games every month, and you get to play 4K, and you get to play pretty much on any screen possible. And xCloud is only in 720 right now, right? I don't think they made the leap to 1080 yet.
720, they haven't made it yet. I know
they haven't made it yet.
Yo, you know how you know they didn't do it yet? Because I would be live streaming right now. I probably would skip the show for that one. You know?
So that's what I'm saying, Storm. That's why Cloud Gaming Chronicles, the Cloud Gamer Chronicles is a necessity, because I don't think people understand that. Yes, I got the Impossible Whopper. Yes, I'm guaranteeing my food will be fresh to made in 2 minutes. But you Burger King, it's going to take a minute. If I can put out enough dishes, it's going to take a minute to convert all of those people that are used to eating your food to veganism. You know what I'm saying? It's going to take a long time. It may happen, but it's going to take a while. So that's how y'all got to look at this thing through the proper lens. So with that said, go ahead, brother.
Let me speak. Let me ask you something real quick based on that, because I swear to you, when I say my buddy, and again, shout out to my homie, man. We had this conversation yesterday, and he kind of brought me back down to earth when thinking about the possibility that Game Pass could go to PlayStation or Nintendo or something like that. I know, there were discussions before about it, trying to get, about Xbox wanting Nintendo to have Game Pass on their platform. Now, all right, today, as we know, we live in a world where things happen, deals happen, people are about that bottom dollar, businesses especially, right? So MM2K, can you really see Game Pass? Like, can you really see a world where Phil Spencer or Phil Harrison, any of these execs or top officials or whatever are in a meeting with each other talking about possibilities? Like, can you see Phil Spencer and Jim Ryan maybe having a conversation like, hey, Jim, Game Pass, it's appealing now. Bethesda, we made this deal happen. Once you consider Game Pass coming to PlayStation, is that dumb to you, or could you see that happening from a business standpoint?
Oh,
because
that's what they want.
My buddy said, "Yo, it's kind of like the Whopper." He made that reference, man, to the Whopper. It's like the Whopper, like Burger King trying to sell their Whopper at McDonald's. McDonald's might think that's a great idea, but at the same time, they're gonna be like, "Hell no," because that's Burger King's burger. So I don't know, but but I'm thinking in my mind, like, "Yo, this is a business."
Yes.
Microsoft bought Bethesda and ZeniMax or whatever for $7.5 billion or 7-point-something billion, right? If they made that bold of a move, they did it for a particular reason, man. So what are your thoughts on, can you see that happening realistically or not?
Shout out to the brother G Million, my homie. He said Burger King is trash. McDonald's is king with the $5. Thank you. Let me say this. I don't think y'all don't realize this, and you better catch on quick, because you're gonna get lost in the sauce and you just be standing around with your mouth open, not knowing what happened. Microsoft, despite what you say about the content they release, they are the trendsetters market-wise right now. Why am I saying that? Because Game Pass is a trendsetter market-wise right now. They set the trends with that. What Xbox's model as far as making money is a trendsetter market-wise. Why do you think PlayStation, throughout all of its execs at the time, sent Yoshida to the basement opening mail for indie games and brought in Jim Ryan and Herman Hulst? Because they're more like-minded to a Phil Spencer, who Phil Spencer in a year where Xbox was laughed at the most, 2018, with what they used to call it, Sea of Piss. There was Sea of Thieves and State of Dismay, they used to call it, and all this other stuff. With all those games, and then in the same year, Sony dropped God of War, Spider-Man, you know what I'm saying? All those chart-topping games. Sony made $16 billion, and Microsoft was right behind them with $10 billion. And Sony's best year in 24 years, Microsoft was right behind them with $10 billion. With some of its most ridiculed content. You know what I'm saying? I get the Sea of Thieves is doing well on Steam, and State of Decay did win an NPD one month, but all that stuff that was being dropped out there that year, it was getting laughed at. And they still were able to do $10 billion. So they set the trend, and it had a big impact on even PlayStation. So even with all that, the reason why I brought that up is y'all still think of this in the olden days, where it's like, no, you keep your content off of my platform. Microsoft is thinking with the Silicon Valley mindset, which is, Storm, look, we make money together. I make money on your platform. You can make money on my platform. And what we do is we battle behind the scenes for ownership and patents. I've always made this argument, and people never understood. And now Microsoft is showing you. Now they own Bethesda. Now they got access to the patented tech of Orion. You know what I'm saying? So that's what it's about. The real battle is about, look, Microsoft they don't care about winning the race and getting the trophy. Microsoft wants to be the one that sells the trophies. So they want to be able to put all of these other platforms in the space and say, look, we'll put Game Pass on your platform. Your back is up against the wall, because if you don't accept Game Pass, then you're going to miss out on all these Bethesda games. What do you say?
Billions of dollars.
Billions of dollars. And we'll give you a cut. We'll give you a cut of the revenue. Come on. Let's do this. Let's make money together. Damn. That's the new mindset that you guys are falling short of. It's even to the point to where I wouldn't even count out Game Pass coming to Stadia.
On Stadia. I knew what you were gonna say.
Have you all noticed that at the beginning of Amazon and Xbox, and Google putting their hats in the cloud gaming space, Phil would go out there every goddamn day. I'm afraid, I can't sleep at night. I'm sweating under my armpits about Amazon and Google. He would say that silly shit every day.
Yep.
And look what he's doing. He don't even mention them, for one. And Google and Amazon both haven't gone away. Neither of them have gone away. And for two, he even name dropped Stadia when they first acquired Bethesda. You see what I'm saying? So, and Stadia name dropped him after that at the DICE Awards. So I wouldn't be surprised if, I'm not saying it's a guarantee, I'm not saying expected, but it wouldn't surprise me, again, because of that Silicon Valley mindset, it wouldn't surprise me, Storm, and get your thoughts on this, if Stadia wasn't on, if Game Pass wasn't on Stadia at some point in time.
All right, here's the deal. Rome just said it, y'all. Money, 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 money.
Exactly.
He just said it. Now, and that's what it's all about at the end of the day. They know what the hell is going on. Okay, again, you're starting to see older PlayStation games coming to PC. I remember MM2K, a time when people would laugh at that shit. The idea of that happening, man. Just straight up dismissed it, laughed at it. Yeah, that'd be dumb. Why would Sony ever release one of their on a Microsoft platform like PC and all that? You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Well, there you go. Now we have that. You know what I'm saying? I remember people saying that game, like characters like Master Chief would never appear in another game, or Kratos would never appear in Fortnite and stuff like that. I remember those conversations too. Now, so I just want to share my thoughts, and we could do it quickly, man. I think the stage is set. And I still think that the Master Chief Collection, Halo the Master Chief Collection, could land on a platform like Stadia, if you go by the verbiage that was spit out there, right? There's only a couple platforms that I could think about where you could play Halo a different type of way, or whatever they were trying to say, and that's Switch or Stadia. So I'm just saying, and you just mentioned like how they would shout out each other or whatever and all that stuff. So if you just put one to one together, these companies are talking. They know what could generate billions of dollars for them quickly in the near term and the long term. They know. They don't give a damn about what we're thinking right now. We're not in the meetings with them. They know that we're going to lap up their products because we're gamers. That's all they think about. How can we get as many? And they keep telling us, you don't even have to listen to what Project Storm is saying right now, because they told you. We're trying to get billions of gamers. Stadia has said it. Microsoft, Xbox has said it. You know what I mean? That's what everybody's goal is. So the only way you could really do that is start breaking down these exclusive game barriers. Not all of them, for all you people that love your exclusives. Hey, it is what it is, but they're breaking down these barriers. They want to see these barriers destroyed. They're coming out now. Cloud gaming is the move. They didn't have to jump into cloud gaming. Hell, they knew it wasn't even ready to some people right now. It's not even there yet, but they knew that they had to start early, lay the foundation for it to really pop off so they could hit the ground running later. It's just, I don't know. It all makes sense to me. I just try to help other people think like I do, because when the news drops, I'm not surprised. I'm not out there like, oh my gosh, I never thought this would happen. I'm up here like, damn right, I can see Game Pass on Stadia.
Yep.
Yes, I can, and I can see Stadia on an Xbox platform in the future.
Yeah.
There's rumblings out there now, about Chromium.
Exactly. Ain't that something? Stadia's so trash.
Y'all gotta stay. Y'all have to. That's not by mistake.
Exactly.
You think this is Microsoft who blocked Stadia in the first damn place? You can all of a sudden now with an update to. Man, y'all got to get out. Come on, man.
Hey,
anyway,
Storm.
What can we go to next?
We're about to transition, but Storm, this is what kills me. This is why the frauds get exposed. Stadia is so trash, but the headlines were, now you can play Stadia on Xbox. You spend $500 to play.
And I didn't see anywhere that Xbox shot it down. Like, nope, that's not factual. That is a mistake. That's an error. None of that yet, right? We'll see if it comes to light now. We'll see if it comes to light when it's live for everybody. Because I know I tried it already, but it was still blocked when I tried it.
Yeah.
I could sign in and everything. I was ready to get it popping, because one thing people got to understand about Xbox is it's pretty solid when it comes to downloads and stuff like that. When I run my speed test, I get like 700-800 something download speed and like 300 upload and all that stuff. So Stadia would definitely work with no problem. I ran Stadia through Shadow PC. So, I'm willing to try it. And I ran it through the Xbox One X, through that extra HDMI port before and all that. And it worked phenomenally. So, hey, it is what it is, man. People sometimes you have to think ahead of the curve. That's why I always encourage people to speculate. Speculate, because when you speculate, what you're doing is conjuring up new ideas while others sit back and get caught off guard. Like, I never saw that coming.
Yep. Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? But anyway, let's go, man.
Nope. So what we're going to do now, Storm, is we're going to, let me see if I can find it. We're going to now open up the phone lines for anybody that want to call in and give their thoughts on all this stuff. So the phone lines are now open. The Skype line is 724-362. Hold on. No. Ignore that. Give me 1 second. I'm going to put it out here because, I had my old Milwaukee.
If story. You don't have, hey, look, man, if you can't put it out there, then I don't know. We won't be having no call.
It's 41. No, damn it. Shut up, MM2K. Just put it out there. It's 724-739-3612. If you want to leave viewer mail, then go to pntsnetwork.com/pound PNTS main Yappa. What do I mean by that? Let me show you. Right here is the PNTS Network website. If you scroll down, if you hit that link, it'll take you down to the Yappa section where you can leave a live Yappa and we'll respond to it live on air. So again, you can either call in at 724-739-3612 or you can leave us live viewer mail and we'll respond to it live on air. All right. But next, Storm,
you were real quick. You were fumbling like old Milwaukee sent you a DM. Now look at me talking about an EM and shit. See, something's going on here, y'all.
Exactly.
I don't know what it is, man. But I don't know what's in the air, but maybe it has something to do with what we're about to talk about next. But
absolutely, and it does because. It seems like everybody's done had their old Milwaukee Storm. Why do I say that? Because look, as you look on your screen, what we have is an article from G Life. Google Stadia Play Anywhere Game Jam March 14th, which is today, to the 20th. And the story, I'll just read you
today is the 13th.
Oh, is today the 13th?
Yeah, tomorrow's.
Tomorrow. Oh, my bad. You know what? There's supposed to be a kickoff announcement. I asked the people that sponsor this if they could provide a link, so I'm still waiting on a response. But yeah, you're right, Storm. My bad. I don't know why I thought today was the 14th. Yeah, that's crazy. Okay. With that said, here's the article. It reads, Google Stadia. Let me make this bigger for those of you that are watching. I don't want to do what I did yesterday and completely flub showing y'all stuff. Google Stadia Playcrafting Empowered Diversity Game Jam. Nearly 40 developers from around the country will work in 10 teams to create a bit of couch play fun. The Google Stadia Play Anywhere Game Jam, a week-long jam focused on a group of diverse and inclusive developers creating playful local Stadia experiences, kicks off this weekend. Playcrafting announced today. About 40 Unity developers from around the United States will work together in 10 teams of mostly 4 to craft engaging couch co-op and competitive games geared toward local multiplayer on Stadia. Let's see here. There's a couple of quotes here. I'll get into them later, but it says the developers are being compensated for their work. This is the meat and potatoes of this and why I'm curious on why we're not hearing more about this. The developers are being compensated for their work on the prototypes and games. The games may be picked up through Stadia Makers program for the developers to fully develop the title for Google Stadia. If a game is not selected, the developers will retain ownership of their game and are free to pitch them elsewhere. The participating developers who are working on games from cities around the country include Seattle, Boston, Chicago, New York, Austin, and Los Angeles. The day after the jam wraps up, the developers will each have a chance to show off their creations in a second live stream, which will be hosted by Playcrafting and Stadia Makers. And they show you all the people that are participating. So here's the thing to take from this. You have a situation store. Well, let me show the history real quick too. So this isn't the first time that this was announced. This actually was announced on January 26th. And it was supposed to happen the 27th through the 31st. Now, apparently something happened and it got pushed back, right? And And then it was supposed to be a closing event on February 3rd. So something happened where it got pushed back. Now, granted, this is pre-SG&E. So all of our good friends and people on the outskirts, Storm, they probably saw this and said, oh, well, Stadia closed SG&E, and it's only a matter of minutes before Stadia closes altogether. This is null and void, right? This is probably what they were thinking. And because of that, they didn't keep an eye on this. So after the fact, now it's been re-reported that no, SG&E has no bearing on what's happened altogether with us growing the platform and doing things for the future. Shout out to the brother Ralph, Mr. 1030, who dropped a link that showed that, who was it? Thunderfield Games or somebody like that. They said, no, we're still working with Stadia. We still got a partnership with them, and we'll talk about later as it applies if we're bringing more games to the platform. They said the SG&E closure has nothing to do with us or nothing to do with our partnership. So then this is like the thousandth entity or piece of content that further solidifies that Stadia is looking to do things long term. So my question, Storm, is, even if you're one that personally doesn't believe this, and you got information out there that contradicts, though, your core belief, why aren't you still talking about this? Why aren't you willing to have a debate about this? This news is out here. Do they not understand how hypocritical it makes them look when they just want to focus on the bad? Storm, what are your thoughts on all this?
Well, you just said it, man. You stole my shine, but I'll tell you this. There's a positive in every negative, man. You know what I'm saying? I will say that because if you think about it, MM2K, we heard the hoopla about no developers would be foolish to want to rock with Stadia after this whole closure of SG&E. Mm-hmm. It just says a lot. It says that the platform is closing down. They don't care about it. Google's not serious about it. It's just a matter of time before they close the doors.
Yep.
Now, y'all heard some of the same buzz out there. So again, I don't make this stuff up, man. What this says right here is that there are developers, and it just made me feel warm and fuzzy inside, man, because now Stadia could be seen, and it was already seen as this.
Yep.
That's why we had the Stadia Makers program in place, or Stadia does. But just think about it, man.
Well, hold on one second, Storm. We got a phone call. Somebody's calling in.
Okay. Let's take that.
Hello, you are live with Project Storm, MM2K on SML Podcast. Who's it that we're talking to? And what is it you want to talk about, our good friend?
Because I'm a cowboy.
Oh,
there he is.
There he goes, Cowboy. How you doing, good brother?
Listen, man, this is my wife's birthday weekend. Her birthday is on Monday, so I've been kind of relaxing. So I turned the show on. I said, oh, man, I got to jump in here real quick.
Tell her we said happy birthday.
That's right.
We're gonna give her a happy birthday shout out. Happy birthday, Cowboy's wife.
Oh, thank you, man. Thank you, man. You know what's crazy, man? I've been saying this forever, that a lot of people hate on Xbox, right? But I've been saying this, that not xCloud, but Game Pass has so much value, right? Mm-hmm. Because I'm a gamer's gamer, right? Yep. So I rep Stadia because it's my preferred platform. But I own an Xbox. I own a PlayStation 4. I didn't get the new systems yet, but I see value for value, and there's a such thing. And people don't want to hear this, whether you're a fan or not. But there's the puppets and there's the puppet masters.
Yeah.
And the puppet masters are the one that say, listen, I'll put my thing on everything, because at the end of the day, I know Sony's more popular than Xbox, but if you play a Xbox game on Sony, then who really is the winner? I'm just saying.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I love the wars, the console war and the cloud wars now. I love to see where it goes, but I personally think, listen, if a company has a game, like, again, you guys are just saying, you could have Kratos and Master Chief in the same game. Who would have thought, right? Yeah. I even see him sell out, my boy who's a sellout, Crash Bandicoot. Now Crash Bandicoot will be on everything. Crash Bandicoot used to be Sony's mascot.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, and look at Sonic, right? There's no more Sega consoles, so now you got Sonic on different platforms. But I think, honestly, I think it's a good thing I think because when you're going to be able to, in the future, you're going to be able to have your preferred platform, but you're going to be able to play your favorite game on your favorite platform.
Yeah.
And that's going to be groundbreaking.
Yep.
And I feel the same way, man. That's what I mean. Because see, they're looking at it. I feel like they're looking at it, right? These big companies or whatever, and they're seeing how many people are hurting from the fact that they can't link up with family, especially during a time like the pandemic. Hey,
Yep.
and now your mama knows I can't play with you, bro, because I only got the PC. But you're like, oh, bro, you can't play with me. And so now I think they're realizing that it's kind of hurting. It's hurting some gamers who have family members across the planet or whatever, and they can't easily communicate and stay connected with them, especially while playing video games, man. So now that's why you're seeing more games coming out with crossplay and all that stuff. It's by design, and man. It all makes sense.
And think of this though, the video game community is the most jaded community you could ever be a part of. I was a diehard Destiny guy, right? Mm-hmm. And I started the Destiny clan when the first one came out, and literally I started it. I was the main guy, right? And all my boys, we was cool. And I started to slowly get out of Destiny, right? And then I got into cloud gaming. I got into Google, right? I got into Stadia. My friends alienate me like the plague, as if I had COVID before COVID was COVID.
Right.
Like, they ain't trying to play with me, nothing. Well, guess what? Destiny is about to be cross-platform.
Exactly.
Meaning we could still link up. So my other boy hit me up. He's like, yo, man, we might be playing again. Oh, man. You cut me off. Uh-huh. But the companies are realizing, listen, we could, because when I kind of got a little bit out of Destiny and I kind of got into Google, right? But guess what could have kept me playing? If I could have been on Google and still playing with my friends. So these companies realizing we're losing people by alienating other companies,
Right.
So they're just like, let's open it up. Now, here's my question for you. How much do you think somebody like the actual gaming companies want that to happen? Because I almost feel like Sony was really the last ones to want to say, okay, let's be a part of that. Because I think they feel like since we're so popular, we could steal people from Microsoft and all to come here. But if we allow people on Microsoft to still play with people over here, then those people we probably won't steal now. They'll probably just say, well, I have no reason to jump and buy a PlayStation because now I can play with my friends who left to get a PlayStation. What do you think about that?
But let's keep it real and thugging. On the flip side, you have these developers out here, and now you just made me realize coming onto the show that I'm thinking about the devs again now. So I'm going back to the devs who only sold 500,000 copies on a game that should have sold 50 million copies. You know what I'm saying? So when you look at it that way, it's kind of like when you open up the gates to the platforms and you implement something like crossplay, then now these developers have an opportunity to watch their games be sold in more places, or you know what I'm saying? And then you get the higher engagement, and that could be beneficial to Stadia. We know that the player count has been a problem. We don't hide that. It's been a problem. Google knows that. So now they're trying to go out and hopefully get these games like what's the game coming up April 1st, y'all? Outriders.
Outriders.
Outriders. So you know what I'm saying? Games like that, more games like that on this platform. Because then now the conversation won't be, well, Stadia, man, I wish I could play with other people and all multiplayer and all that. It kind of kills that whole narrative, right? So that's what I'm thinking about right now. I think that it could work.
Check this out, right?
Go ahead.
Now check this out, Project Storm. Here's the cool thing. Imagine Outriders come out, right? Now we could play with everybody, right? You got somebody on Xbox, you got somebody on PlayStation, you got somebody on Stadia, right? And imagine we're like, yo, bro, when I come home today, we're gonna link up. All right, cool, we're gonna jump on at 6. Guess what came out today? They put out an update, a patch. So I'm gonna come home and be playing, and you guys gonna get on. Like, man, I got on at 6:45. All right, let's just make it 7. I'm like, why? Like, because I got to do this update. Now they're gonna be like, what? You been playing the game? Like, yeah, bro, we don't get updates. It's automatic.
Check it out. Now you talking about Destiny 2. Let's go back to it. See, I already done seen Xur. I'm already trying to know his exotics or whatever, man. I already, I got my mission completed. Oh, y'all still updating? Oh, see, and you're right. And that's gonna appeal to more people. Now they're gonna start talking about the cloud. But man, we didn't give you an opportunity to chime in, man. This right here is heated, and now your mama knows brought that fire. But what's your thoughts on it, man?
No. I think it's a great discussion. My thoughts are, yeah. I mean, look, you like what you like, and that's great. And we all should relish gamers with a capital G, like And Your Mama Knows, my homie Project Storm, people like John Scar, you know what I'm saying? And shout out to the Stadia Bass Community Network, you know what I'm saying? Where they're like, what's the saying, Cowboy? Shut up and boot up.
Or shut up, man.
Boot up or shut up.
You know what I'm saying? By MM2K. I said it the other day on Stadia Source.
But it's not now. It belongs to SBCN now. You know what I'm saying? So it's boot up or shut up, right?
Yes, sir.
So you play wherever you want to play, but with this at the same time, you got to give credit where credit is due. We give credit to Xbox marketing what they did with Bethesda and the potential that can of changing the dynamic. But you also got to give credit to Stadia, like you just said, Cowboy. When they come home, they be like, "Oh man, oh yeah, you're gonna play on that Stadia. What you gonna do when you boot it up? I'm already beat the first 5 levels. What?
Yeah.
Oh man, what?
So here's something else, right? Here's something else. Just the other day, my friend, right, he got a PlayStation 5 now, and we was on the phone. He was like, "Oh man, when I play my PlayStation 5, it don't sound like a jet engine gonna take off anymore." I said, "Yeah, bro, I know exactly what you're talking about. I've been playing cloud gaming for over a year." And then he paused. I was like, "Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's right. Bro, you know how to listen. My PlayStation 4, when I used to play it, my PlayStation 4 Pro sound like, listen, they got the Blue Angels flying over my house. You know what I'm talking about." But there's a lot of advantages to cloud gaming, and if we can have cross-platform, the people who are going to be playing with us are going to see and literally listen to us playing. Like, for instance, right, if we're playing Destiny together, and they're going to be like, "Wait, we're playing Destiny. I've never seen his character glitch. I never seen his character slow down. I never got to a certain spot and had to wait for him." Because why? Cloud gaming does work exactly as the same thing you playing that's under your TV. And people are going to be able to see that because they're going to be playing with us at the exact same time.
Bro, you done did something now. Man, let me get one more minute, man, with the brother, man. Hey, now check this out, Cowboy. Check it out. They've already shown us bits and pieces. Like, you remember when PUBG came and you have this exclusive Stadia gear that you can't get nowhere else, and then people are like, "What the hell is that?" You know what I'm saying? So they're showing you. So if all right, now for all of the people, this is why we need to have these conversations about exclusivity and all that. I love them. So imagine if somebody said, like Google can say, "Hey, you get that Stadia t-shirt, you get exclusive Stadia swag, you get Mortals Phoenix Rising. We partner with Ubisoft to bring, these certain characters into the Stadia version of the game." Fans will still appreciate that. And if you think I'm lying about that, go to Epic and Fortnite. I keep sending people back to Epic and Fortnite and about how these, and I know there are microtransactions and all this stuff and all that, right? But these companies can see that they still can make money. Let's free the game. The developers can eat, which means they're going to be happy, right? And they're going to be more inclined to make more games for your platform because they know that monetary success is going to be there, man. It's crazy, bro.
Can I throw something else in there too? Play the way that you want to play and give value and give kudos to everybody. You know what I'm saying? And it's not all about us. Like when we do the Cloud Gamer Chronicles, we're not doing it to be negative about anybody. We're about telling you what each platform is and what it isn't. But one of the great things with Stadia is that your Game Pass is great as well. But one of the great things with Stadia is that with Cyberpunk 2077, there were 2 revelations. Number one, remember how people were sending threats, which is abhorrent, to CD Projekt Red because the game kept getting pushed back, right? Remember how they were doing it? Because why? Because people wanted to be able to play Cyberpunk 2077, maybe for long hours or maybe just get some time in, and they can't bring their console with them. But guess what? With Stadia, on the lunch break, just bring your phone with you, bring your Razer Kishi, or if you can do the touch control, and you ain't got to take off from work. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can still get some gaming depending on where you work. You work in a lumber yard or whatever where there's downtime, just whip out your phone. So that's one of the great things. And shout out to the homie Pablo III. He was talking about that. Like, yeah, man, when the job that he does, he has big law times. So in those law times, he just whips out his phone and he plays Stadia. And he gets the great fidelity, the great performance that he would at home. You can't do that with the other platforms right now. So
I hate to tell y'all, man, boom, look who stepped in the room to remind us that hardware is greater than cloud. There he is. We just was
were
asking
worried
about the
you, bro.
Hey, and now your mama knows you came in here, lit it up, man. Let's see if anybody else want to jump in too and just call up just like you did, man.
Listen, guys, thank you for having me. I know people look at me like I'm the crazy guy, but I'm a gamer. I've been playing since Atari,
bro,
man.
I see you as the enthusiastic gamer. That's the way.
And I love to. I call myself a gamer's gamer, man. I love to talk gaming, and I could definitely get serious with it too. But let me drop one last thing because it's going to tie to what MM2K said. The reason why I fell in love with Stadia from the rip was I remember my daughter's boyfriend let me have his PlayStation Vita. And my boy was like, because I worked at a job where I had a lot of downtime. And I was like, and I was diehard in Destiny. I was like, bro, I could be playing a strike at work. That's what was downtime I got. So my boy was like, oh, you could do this thing called remote play with your Vita. So you could play it at work. I was like, oh. So my daughter's boyfriend was like, oh, I got an extra Vita I don't even use. You can have it. I was like, bet. I'm at work. I'm like, this is terrible. Like, this doesn't work. The internet, like, it just wasn't working. I'm like, imagine if technology allowed you to be able to play something anywhere, right? And then years later, Stadia came. And I was like, this solves all the issues where I could be anywhere and playing my games on anything. That's all I got to say, man.
So let me ask you this before you roll in, since you just said that. Why Stadia? Why so much emphasis on Stadia, bro?
Now, here's the thing. I love that you said that. So if you ask me, say, yo, Cowboy, what's your favorite game right now? Marvel Avengers. Okay, well, cool. So what makes Marvel Avengers so special on Stadia? Oh, I can play it anywhere. But why don't you just play it on Luna? Oh, well, remember, Luna is a subscription service. So you only pay a month, and it's a Netflix type thing where you can only get games that's on it. So I can't buy Marvel Avengers on Luna. I can't buy Marvel Avengers on Xbox, xCloud.
Yeah.
So this is why I like Stadia, because they allow me to buy. They cover everything. Stadia said, listen, we got Pro, so we got a subscription service too where we're going to give you games a month, and we allow you to buy games straight up. So when people say, I don't like the Stadia business model is pretty much PlayStation. They're the same thing. You buy whatever games you want, but you got a subscription service as well. So that's why Stadia, because I can't get my favorite game on a lot of other cloud services.
Yep. Gotcha.
Bobby.
Hey.
Never thought about it that way, bro.
But thank you so much, Cowboy, for calling in, man. Happy birthday to your wife. I hope y'all have a great weekend, man. And thank you so much for dropping those jewels, man.
Yeah, man. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it. And also, man, I just want to give a shout out to Ray's mom.
You're gonna do that on your wife's birthday? Come on, brother. He's crazy.
It is what it is, man.
It is what it is. No, all great stuff.
Ray. If you're out there, you know what you got to do, man. You already know. So let's go ahead, MM. Ray knows what he has to do, man.
Ray knows. Yeah, I saw him out there with the eyes. He knows what he got to do. I just wanted to read this part too from the Game Life article. This is coming from somebody, one of the developers that is going to be participating in this game jam. This jam is a quote. This jam is a solid first step in companies meeting developers where we are, said Chris Kindred, design lead and game lead of Team Geofront. Our team hopes that this will be the start of a larger movement toward the work of achieving true equity through direct modes of uplifting marginalized developers in our industry. That's huge. So this guy who's a developer who feels like he's been marginalized hasn't been approached. Oh, hold on. We got another phone call.
Oh, who could it be now?
All right. So we got you're live with Project Storm, MM2K on SML Podcast. Who's it that we're talking to, and what is it you want to talk about our good friend?
Calvin Morgan.
I wanted
to talk about the whole Stadia, the whole closing. Was it GSE?
The SG&E, the first party studios.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
So,
let's go. All right.
So you know how when GeForce first came out, all the publishers was on there, and when they beta in the out of beta. So once they poured out of beta, all the publishers left.
Yep.
I was the first one. I was on there, and they had good games on there. Now, when they started, everybody didn't say, "Oh, well, GeForce going to die. GeForce going to die. GeForce going to die." But then, But then you see Stadia pull their first party out because the business model changed once they got onto like the whole TV thing. They had to find ways to do competition against GeForce.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't do that if you ain't got all them popular games on that. You can't be in competition with GeForce because GeForce going to knock you out the water.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, that's.
No,
I was going to say that's a great point. Go ahead, brother.
But the thing is, I'm sitting back and I'm like watching everybody dissing Stadia. I'm like, well, GeForce had the same thing where, shit happens with them. And, sometimes, what you got to do is you just got to sit back and let them work their model out. And yes, I know Google got a sucky way of communicating with everybody. I mean, like I said, what got me into Stadia was because of the fact of GeForce. I started out with GeForce.
Okay.
xCloud, finally starting to get into the whole movement of the cloud, which I'm happy for them. And they just purchased Bethesda, but they still got a ways to go too.
Mm-hmm. So Calvin, and that's all great stuff, brother. I'm glad. Thank you for calling and giving us that. But I got a question for you, and to shed some perspective on what you're saying. So, do you think? Because we talked about this earlier in the show. Do you think the reason why people keep doing that is when they look at what happened with GFN, they just said, "Oh, GFN is just is a cloud platform, and it's only starting to grow. So this is a patch in the road." For a cloud platform. Do you think, but in contrast, every time Stadia goes through something, they compare it to what Microsoft and Xbox is doing. Do you think the reason why GFN and all these other platforms keep getting a pass is because every time Stadia goes through something, they're being compared to platforms on the main stage that have been around for decades instead of them being compared to other cloud platforms? What do you think about that?
All right, so I think the reason, my reason why I think they do that because I feel like Google's like Microsoft. If you realize, you look at the Chromebook, and look at how the computers are. Chromebook is just fanless. If you notice, I was looking at my kids' Chromebook, and I'm like, wow, like y'all can sit on anything. Y'all ain't gotta worry about the motherboard burning up. And I think people are not looking to go to Chromebook because they're used to Windows. In the same way how, like, when you look at Microsoft with Xbox, and then you look at Google, and like, oh, well, Google not in the same league as that. But the thing is, Google is onto something. And the thing is, when they onto something, they got the best tech, which we see. And people want to bash it because it's just like Microsoft is the PlayStation, and then you got Google's like the Xbox. You remember when Xbox first came out, everybody bashed Xbox. Mm-hmm. Everybody, all PlayStation people bash Xbox. That's what they do in the Stadia. They're bashing it because they don't understand it. Until you say about 5 or 6 years later, everybody's gonna love it. Everybody, oh my God, yeah, Google's doing this, Google doing that. But everybody should praise what they're doing because the thing is, nobody else is doing it. Yes, they may not have the exclusive games that PlayStation, Xbox, or Nintendo has, but they have all the technology that they don't have. And that's something that want to get them farther because if they continue to keep following that model that they're doing, I think they're going to be farther down the road successful. But if they try to keep competing with Xbox and PlayStation and Nintendo, they're just going to lose.
Mm-hmm.
Calvin,
they're not ready for it yet.
Calvin, let me chime in, bro, because you done said something that ignited a flame again, man. Now, so you said that the people were like the PlayStation fans, and I remember that, and I keep bringing it up to certain people, but they act as if they don't remember it. So I'm glad you brought that up. But they were, man. Xbox came out. What games do you have? Halo? What is this Halo? You know what I'm saying? I remember that conversation because I got an Xbox day one. The original OG. So that's definitely there. But do you think, Calvin, that it was just straight up because they wanted it dead, so they didn't have to compete with it? Because here's another console coming to the same space. So what's your thoughts on that, and how could that correlate with Stadia and what's going on with the cloud side of things?
Because really, it's because they don't want to take the time to understand what cloud gaming does. And cloud gaming has, like Cowboy was saying, you ain't gotta wait for no downloads. You can jump right into the game. With the whole PlayStation not jumping into cloud gaming, but you have Xbox doing it because Xbox see what cloud gaming does to the community. They see that it's something that they don't have to worry about dealing with the storage or memory. People don't have to buy extra stuff for cloud gaming, and I think that's good for everybody's pocket. But PlayStation's going to be like, I think PlayStation's going to actually compete with Nintendo, and I only say this because if you think about the PSP, you know, they're the only ones that brought out something similar to the Switch, and they got the VR. So I think, so if you look at it, I think they're going to knock you competing with. I mean, they're better. You compete against each other. Xbox bringing out the whole xCloud to make Stadia even better. Have a better outlook on, okay, we see what they're doing, they see what we're doing. Okay, how can we outdo them? How can they outdo each other? But it's good because everybody gets to have a win-win situation.
Let me ask you: do you think that there was any kind of fear involved on one side? Like, say the PlayStation, do you think they were afraid that Microsoft came in with deep pockets, right? Do you think that PlayStation gamers were afraid at all of Xbox and what it could do because it was backed by Microsoft?
Oh yes, because I believe that it was. I believe it was scared because they're like, oh man, what is this other giant coming in? Oh no, we got to outdo them because we don't want them taking our spot. You know, I mean, you know, everybody when they see things, they get scared because of the fact that they don't want to change it. They don't want to.
There it is. Yep. There it is.
You still get people that talk about, oh, I want the death with streaming music. I still want my physical discs. Well, you can still go into Walmart and buy your physical discs if you want to. They're not going away. It's just this is a more convenient option for the masses, and that's what cloud gaming is going to be eventually down the road. But they got to start small. That's all. And it's just an option. It's a technical option that people can use and flourish their activity with right now. It's not meant to take over dedicated device gaming. So at this point in time, I don't think none of these cloud platforms should in totality be compared to Xbox or PlayStation. It's like the same scenario I gave with the vegan restaurant. Yes, I can have dishes that are similar to what you get at a normal restaurant. Yes, I can actually have services that are better there, but in totality, people are still going to go to the regular restaurants until being a vegan becomes more popular. That's just the way that it is. So,
right. Hey, Project. Look, I wanted to tell you this, right? Mm-hmm. So, you see how a lot of people are like, oh, I've been looking at other podcasts, and I've been listening to a lot of podcasts say, well, oh, Google is not, Stadia's not hit for me when they pro model because they put in all these indie games, these phone games.
Oh,
but the thing is, the phone has the biggest market of gaming, period. And if you're going to be like, so they got to be different from GeForce and Luna. Mm-hmm. And if they're going to be everywhere, don't you want to tap into that mobile gaming as well as not only just playing anywhere as an Xbox and PlayStation? You want to hit every aspect.
Calvin bringing the heat.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, you answer first. I went first last time.
Hey,
bro, check it out. All right.
Go ahead,
you know, I'll go now. Hey, check it out real quick, Calvin. You just, boy, hell of a show right now, y'all. Hell of a show. Hit the like button for Calvin.
Hit that like button.
You know what I'm saying? And now what your mama knows. Hey, check it out. Bro, I got chills right now because people don't understand 1 + 1 sometimes. I keep saying that it's not as an insult, but it's the easiest way I know how to break it down. They have said to us, Google has said, they're trying to reach all of these gamers, casual gamers included. Mm-hmm. So when you see a game like Shantae Genie and all that, whatever the name of the titles are, I've never played one of those games. But when you see games like Trine 4, which is going to be a great game, I played Trine 2, and it was a great, fun, beautiful game. So when you see games like Trine 4 and you see games like the Blue game, I forget the title of it. I wish we had them up right now, but those games appeal to people who can easily play on a device like an iPad or a phone, Android phone or whatever. So you have to cater to those people. Mm-hmm. Like it's just right. That simple. We don't even have to get deep into it. But Calvin, I'm glad you brought that up, man, because some people are not seeing. They're not seeing the transparency there, and they're not seeing the logic in the whole thing with these games. Now, others have said that they would like to see AAA games, including myself. I can't wait for Call of Duty to come because I think that some people are going to be intrigued by the fact that they could save so much hard drive space. They don't have to delete Halo and Gears 5 to put Call of Duty on their Xbox, or they don't have to delete Spider-Man and Demon's Souls to put it on their PlayStation. It's just going to be there for Stadia and cloud gaming as a whole. So, bro, I'm glad you brought that up. But MM, that's my point on it, man.
Yeah, I want to follow up and say this. Two quick points, real quick. First and foremost, when it comes to those type of games, like Storm just said, how in the hell do you expect to reach 1.2 billion gamers solely based off of just AAA titles? There aren't 1.2 billion gamers playing AAA titles. Right. I need y'all to stop eating the lead chips, okay? 1.2 billion gamers includes PC and mobile gamers, and mobile gamers aren't playing God of War. Wake up! I see that argument all the time, and it just shows the infancy, sometimes Calvin and Storm, of this community. They don't get the big picture. They don't look at things from 5,000 feet. So if Stadia and xCloud is telling you, look, we are trying to reach 1.8 billion gamers. Stadia doesn't have a lineage of older AAA games from years ago that they can put on the platform or add to Stadia Pro. So they can quickly put these mobile games on there to build their library up and appeal to those said gamers. And we don't know the rate that they're adopting on, because mobile gamers ain't listening to MM2K or aren't listening to or aren't going on Stadia Source or Cloudy with a chance of game. They're not doing that. They're just playing the damn games and enjoying the platform, for one. So we got to wake up and we got to get smarter at evaluating that. Secondly, when it comes to, if we want to, let me play devil's advocate. Let's just say if they were playing the AAA games. Let's be real, y'all. How many AAA games have there been dropping? Like, if you look at NPD, which is the largest console market evaluation of gaming, and NPD, 10 of the top 20 games were multi-plat games for February, right? 10 of them were multi-plats. Out of those 10 multi-plat games, guess how many are on Stadia as of next week?
8, because 8. I watched your show.
Thank you. 8 of them. 8 of them are on Stadia. There is not a y'all act like that there's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 AAA games being dropped every damn day. Stop it. You guys are, that's what I'm saying. A lot of, like Calvin brought up, a lot of these arguments aren't making sense, and they're biased. They're superficial and they're biased because they're saying me. But if you are trying to reach 1.2 billion gamers, it goes beyond you, it goes beyond me, it goes beyond Calvin, it goes beyond Storm. You got to reach a plethora of gamers. So again, Calvin, thank you for bringing up those points. Great points. And it's just that people got to look at this thing more well-roundedly.
I want to hit one more thing that Calvin said. Calvin also just touched base on the Stadia games and entertainment closing down, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, I've been on record to say that I supported the move. I wasn't angered by the move. Believe me, if I was, I would have let y'all know. You know, I don't have no shame in my game. I will let you know. All right, Calvin just brought that up. Calvin just said, oh, they struck a deal. They realized that, damn, Stadia is so appealing now that LG said, oh, hell yeah, we'll do that for you, Google. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, we'll put that on our new TVs, including the new ones that's upcoming, the 8Ks and all that, right? You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So, and Stadia knows, you know what? If we get our platform, if we get Stadia out there on all these devices, we could cater to those, and that's going to cost us some money. Yes, we're going to have to put money out there, and we're going to have to maintain everything and build more data centers and all this stuff, or enhance the data centers we currently have. Let's just cut the first-party studio games out. Yeah. I just talked to Phil Spencer. I'm Phil Harrison right now. I'm doing my best Phil Harrison. Hey, I just talked to Phil Spencer the other day, and Phil brought up a good point that exclusivity, you know, Game Pass, they're trying to put it everywhere. Mm-hmm. I think that's a genius model in order to reach more gamers faster. Yo, y'all, come on, man. Please stick with what Calvin is trying to tell y'all out here, man. Calvin, first of all, I appreciate you again. We want to allow time for anybody that might be chomping at the bit to call in as well, brother. We don't like to kick people off of here, but we got a platform available, and we're going to be talking more about that, man.
Yeah, definitely, man. So stay tuned, Calvin, man. But thank you, man. That was some fire stuff, brother. Thank you so much for calling in, and call in next week too, man. We can't do this without y'all support and dropping fire like this.
And thanks for being a member too.
No problem.
Yeah, shout out. Yeah, thank you for that, man. Appreciate it.
All right, man. Peace out.
All right, peace out. This is, man, these phone calls are great today, man.
Yo, that's why
These phone
that's
calls
why
are
we do it in the
fantastic.
first place, MM2K, man. Ever since you, and I will say it, you came up with the idea to open these lines up to the public, man. Some people might be against that. They don't know what people might say.
Yeah.
You know, and you have to understand that some people are going to be people. You know, they're human beings, right? So do we laugh at something that people say? Do we give it fuel if it's out of context or whatever? But nah. But at the same time, we understand that the community has voices, man. You all have voices out there, right? And again, you can't type. Some people can't type. You got to think about that. Some people can't type. There might be somebody with a disability that might not allow them to type. Think about it. We open up these lines for people to share their voices out here, man.
Yep.
I mean, nobody can come on here and say anything that we haven't heard anyway. MM, I just want to throw it out there in case somebody's wondering, how do you do it on SML, man? How do you do it on SSC? This is how we do it. You know,
real, man. Hey, look, Storm, that reminds me. Remember when we was on the commission? I can't remember the individual's name. But he called in and he went into a debate with the whole damn panel. I mean, we just keep it real like that. As long as you don't get out of pocket, you don't get vulgar. You don't, you ain't talking about nobody's kids, no racial stuff,
no racism and all that.
The sexually inclined stuff. You know, you could call in and say what you got to say. This is about keeping it real and creating a platform where your voice is heard, whether you agree with Storm or MM2K or not, and we just talk it out. You know what I'm saying? So. No, definitely. But this is some fire today, man. Shout out to Calvin. Shout out to And Your Mama Knows. I'm loving this, man. Storm. So look,
what up?
We're a little bit over, but if you don't mind, we can continue on just for a little bit.
You know I don't mind, bro. Go ahead. Hey, when you shut down, I shut down. Let's go.
So look, I wanted to continue this point, and then we're going to move on to the last point. That again, this person said, quote, about the game jam. This jam is a solid first step in the company's meeting developers. Hold on, let me put this back on the screen here. This jam is a solid first step in the company's meeting developers where we are, said Chris Kindred, design lead and game lead of Team Geofront. Our team hopes that this will be a start of a larger movement toward the work of achieving true equity through direct modes of uplifting marginalized developers in our industry. So again, marginalized developers feel like, marginalized means that they feel like that they weren't given a fair shake, given a fair chance. And out of all of the companies that are making them or trying to work towards them not being marginalized is the good old evil Stadia. You know what I'm saying? And to the point, Storm, that where we got on Stadia's case for not even advertising this. So this ain't about, Stadia's trying to get some publicity and make themselves look good. They're not even talking about this when they should. So kudos to Stadia. I can't wait to see the kickoff stream that I believe is going to happen today, and then some more streams are going to happen between now and the 20th. And I'm going to say this to the cloud gaming community. This is a sign of where we got to get better and reporting stuff in totality. Even if you don't feel that this counters the narrative of Stadia trying to be in this long term, beyond 2021 or whatever, have that debate. That's the debate that you should have. Like, even though I personally, Storm, don't feel at the moment that what Phil Spencer said means in totality that there's going to be exclusivity like how a lot of people feel, I'm still going to bring it up and have the debate. Stop being afraid of addressing people that have differences of opinions, because then that goes against your credibility when you do. Report everything. Storm, any final thoughts before we move on?
Yeah, man. I was chiming in before the great callers called in. I was sharing my thoughts on it, man. First of all, you get a platform that opened up their doors during the pandemic for months.
Yes.
I want y'all to stay with me, man. This is the same Stadia right here, right? It gets all the hate. And so when it sounds like we're kind of defending Stadia, which we're not.
Yeah.
But we love the platform. We understand that people were like Grace Yang and Phil Harrison and everybody who lost their jobs and everybody, they're human beings, right? Mm-hmm. So if you care about human beings, which you should, then you kind of understand where I'm coming from, you know? So they offer these great things, you know, now they are here for these developers who may not be seen elsewhere. They might get the door slammed in their faces. Yeah, right. Whatever. What can you do for me? Stadia is out here trying to provide a place for them to show their games. And, you know, we might find the next Valheim out of that. You know, we might find the next Pixel Junk Raiders or whatever that could come out of that. You just never know, man. So I think it's a magnificent thing. It's a great effort. And it's how Stadia is going to lead by example. You know what I'm saying? They're not out here marching to the beat of everybody else's drum. And because of that, people are not ready for what Stadia has to offer yet. But I think they soon will see, man. I think they soon will see.
Absolutely. All right, y'all. Again, the phone number, we'll put it back up here. If you want to call in real quick while we're going over this last topic, 724-739-3612. And for viewer mail, let me see. Viewer mail. I want to put viewer mail. And let me put this little space right here like this. For viewer mail,
Shake Capo just told you what to do, man. You might want to check that out.
He said, "Mo, stop wasting Storm time." He tried to play Doom 3.
Not today. Hey, I am. You know I am, and I'm trying to get back on that Dirt 5, and I'm trying to jump on some more games too, man. Shake Capo be in the building, man, making sure I'm good and everything. I'm doing what the hell I'm supposed to be doing. So that's
you know what? And Shake, hey, look, man, I might send you a pack of Skittles for that one because that's a perfect segue to our last subject matter. So what we're trying to do on this platform, again, is solidify the fact that our aim, particularly for 2021 and beyond, is to make sure that there's more balanced reporting when it comes to Stadia and all things cloud gaming. A second thing that we're trying to do is we're trying to highlight the Stadia talent out there. And a third thing you can say that we're trying to do is we're trying to pull the veil off of what people think about Stadia and cloud gaming in totality by educating gamers. So therefore, that's why we have the aforementioned, the Cloud Gamer Chronicles, where we're going to be sitting together, putting our heads together with some of those that are most familiar with cloud gaming and bringing you the news at the most balanced level that we can bring it. But what we're also doing when it pertains particularly to Stadia Storm is we got something called the SDO Stadia Challenge. Now, what is that? Well, we're going to other content creators or other gamers, and we're doing something, based upon, thanks to the support that you guys give us. We are working with them and we're getting them set up on Stadia. We're giving them Stadia Premier bundles, giving them access to Stadia games so they can see themselves the magic of Stadia, opposed to trying to talk about the platform without really knowing about the platform. And our first example of that is a great platform provider, a great content creator and platform provider. His name is Dark 1985. I came across the brother because he's been doing some collaborations with Porter Rock. For those of y'all that don't know Porter Rock is a big time PlayStation heckler and troll out there in the crumb side. And he works with Dark. Dark is the complete opposite. He's not a heckler or a troll. He's a real down-to-earth guy, but he really likes Xbox. And he came from the PlayStation world, and now he's Team Xbox, right? So I heard a video from Dark courtesy of Porter Rock, and Doc was talking about cloud gaming, and I could tell that he wasn't familiar with it. So I said, well, let me do this. Let me help get the brother familiarized with Stadia and cloud gaming. Let's send him a Premier bundle, and let's do the SDO challenge. Give him 60 days of Stadia Pro per our referral. Let him play the games there, and get the brother a free game, which we got him Red Dead Redemption. And if he wants, and then at the end of all this, well, before the end of all this, he's going to get a free copy of Outriders to play with all of his friends on any platform of his choice. So we actually did that, and he's been surprised. He's been happy. He's been elated. I remember one of the last communications I had with him, because I said, I'm going to let you just play, brother, and I want you to be fully honest and transparent with this. If there's something you don't like, bring it up. If you don't like the experience altogether, bring it up. And if you love the experience or like it, bring it up. So we're going to reach out with him, and we're going to do something with him like in the upcoming weeks. But I wanted to leave him alone and let him game. And one of the last communications that I had with him is, Storm, one of your favorites. He said, man... He said, this PUBG on Stadia ain't to be messed with. He said, right. I was playing it on my phone, and I am quite surprised. So I said, that's good, brother. I'm gonna drop a video to announce the the challenge, but you keep playing and we'll get back to you when we get back to you. So Storm, what do you got to say about all this? All of the initiatives that we're starting with, Cloud Gamer Chronicles and the SDO challenge. What do you think this is a positive thing for the platform and for the community?
Yo, man, ever since we first gave away our first giveaway, man, I've been 100% on board with it. It's just something that first of all, we're fortunate enough to be able to do that. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Like with the help of the people out here. And I want to shout some people out, man. Give y'all an example, man. We got Dominicano 791. Y'all seeing with the green link, man. That means sir. What, MM2K? What does the green link mean?
The green link means, as the party bot has been letting you know, that he is a supporter of this platform. It's because of people like Dominicano that we were able to even do this with Doc Dart. He's a member. He hit that join button. He supports the platform, and because of that, he gets extra content, which now includes the Cloud Gamer Chronicles for every member at every level on this platform.
So shout out to him and Sean L. And you heard Calvin Morgan call in today. Also a member, man.
Absolutely.
I want to shout out those people right there, because I'm telling you right now, without y'all, man, Stadia Dosage News it's gonna run, but y'all know what I'm saying, man. Y'all just make sure that the engine is oiled up and all that stuff. Then you got the Gaming Advocate and everybody else that dropped those super chats today, man. Project Kill, Rome, you know what I'm saying? Reminding us to keep it a buck. So, it's not a cash grab, people. I've seen somebody joke around about that a couple times and all that, man. Nah, this is about being able to, and you can find it. You can find the receipts, right?
Mm-hmm.
We do this for the people who are less fortunate, who might want to jump in and they can't get that $500 console, or they can get the $500 console, but they just can't. If they get that console, they can't get Stadia. But they really want to try it because of what me, MM2K, and others are saying about it and what they're seeing as far as our content goes and all that, right? So that's what it's primarily about, man. Being able to do something. We could say, hell no, we ain't giving y'all a damn thing. You know what I'm saying? and we could be those type of people. Because
me and Storm gonna get some old Milwaukee off this.
Exactly. Yeah, we'll get 13 cases of old Milwaukee on the wagon. You know what I'm saying? With a mule. Say, we could do that. But see, the thing is, y'all, we're not out here. We know we're not the biggest YouTubers out here on the planet.
Absolutely.
Man. And we know some of the biggest YouTubers on the planet don't even rock with Stadia as a platform.
Exactly.
They laugh at it, they ridicule it, but that's not what we're trying to do, man. We're trying to help those experience what we're experiencing, and then at the end of the day, maybe you never know, you just might get another great Stadia player. That's what it's about. So I think it's all these initiatives, man, have been great from the giddy up. People have definitely showed the enthusiasm and the gratefulness and all that stuff. When we do it, that's what it's all about. It won't stop, y'all. It will only get better as time goes by, man. So appreciate all y'all. To everybody that showed up today. I mean, we didn't even have time. We were lit today when we didn't have time to even go through the chat, man.
Exactly. Yeah. Whew. Yeah. The chat is bumping though, man. Shout out to everybody. And again, I'm gonna try to do. There's no guarantee. I'm sorry, guys. I know that the channel talk, the show where I do a live stream of the previous week's worth of stuff. We kind of been off the loop with that for all of our members, but we've definitely been making sure that we're doing the my first look and been doing this SSC after party. We're going to definitely get back to channel talk because we know people like that. And also, now y'all get another free, piece of content, which is its own. Y'all get to pilot this new platform, which is the Cloud Gamer Chronicles. And again, don't worry, this is not Stadia Dosage pivoting to try to, host other platforms. This is, we understand there's a smart way to do this, and we're going to introduce this platform to you guys via Stadia Dosage because it connects to Stadia Dosage because we want to fairly promote not only Stadia, but all cloud gaming platforms via our cloud content. So we're going to pilot it here. And then once it grows enough, hopefully it does grow enough with you guys' support, you guys support, and then it'll be its own thing. So,
and you know what I love the most before we close out, man, the fact that people have already been chiming in about their thoughts on the Cloud Gaming Chronicles and all that stuff, man. Christopher Torres is in the house. Y'all thought I was going to forget Torres, man? Did you really think I was gonna forget Christopher Torres, who's called in, shared his thoughts on the platform,
that's
man.
My brother.
So that's Calvin Morgan and Christopher Torres. And you see Dominicano out here reminding us, I support y'all 100%. That's what it's all about. I guarantee you, though, they wouldn't support us. They wouldn't give us a damn hour of their time if we wasn't keeping it real.
Yeah.
That I can assure you. So, brother, I'm asking you, make sure we keep it real all the time, bro.
Absolutely.
Because I told you, I walk on this platform before.
he said, I'll take a walk off the plank. Yeah,
you know
I got you. I got you.
Straight up.
It's the only way we could do it, man. We got to keep it real, and we got to keep it original. And again, it's not to slight anybody. We're not doing this like the Cloud Gaming Chronicles ain't to say, phooey about y'all and screw y'all. No, like there's a lot of great.
Once they see it in action, they'll get it. They'll
exactly.
get it.
They'll get
okay.
It. Yeah, they'll get it. It's there's a lot of great content out there. Definitely partake and go to the content that you like. It's just that our aim is to make sure that cloud gaming is looked at through what we feel are the proper lenses, and maybe through the optimistic lens. See, there's the proper lens and there's the optimistic lens. The proper lens is when you look at Stadia, you got to look at it as a comparison to other cloud platforms. This is only a 2 to 4% business right now. So it's not fair every time Stadia does something. Well, yeah, Stadia's doing the Game Makers program, but Xbox got the Xbox Indie Gold program. No, that's not fair. And then GFN got 6 million users when the normal game platforms are getting 8 to 14 million paid users, right? With that being, go ahead.
Go ahead. Because you sitting up here saying all that, and you got an RTX 3070 and a PS5, bro. Why the hell are you even wasting your time about Stadia, Moss? Like, why are you even trying to fight this fight, man?
You know why? Because, again, even though I have those platforms and they're good for what they're good for, and I enjoy them, particularly my 3070 card. I love Stadia. I love the portability of Stadia, the portability, the ease of use, and the fact that I still get great fidelity. Maybe not better than a PC, definitely, but I still get great fidelity any screen that I play on. That's a big plus for someone like me in my lifestyle. That being said, other people it may be the flip opposite. And we want to put everything on the table for anybody, regardless of what your lifestyle needs to be, catered to, for you to make the decision that's best for you. So that's why we do it.
Thank you.
Absolutely. So with that said, I think we covered everything, Storm. I think we got all the calls that we're going to get. So I think it's time to wrap up, man. What are your thoughts, Storm?
Yeah, well, my thoughts is hell of a show, hell of a discussion, hellified chat, you know what I mean? And I'm about to get some gains after I eat lunch, man. But hey, after I eat, y'all better get ready for another. The sky's gonna darken, right? And all of a sudden, you just gonna hear a crack, ah!
Yeah.
And then next thing you know, Project Storm is gonna be live with something, y'all. So stay tuned. So you can find me with that crack, and all that right here on YouTube. You can find me on Twitter, where I'm out there running my mouth, man, trying to help and support others. You know what I mean? Just scouring Twitter for the small streamers who are doing this thing, the cloud gaming thing, especially. And, that's what I'm going to be doing, y'all. So you can find me on Twitter at the Nephiliac right here. If you haven't subbed already and you've been enjoying the show, y'all, hit that subscribe button. I promise it won't hurt you. I promise. Hit that subscribe button. Help us grow. Help me grow. You know what I mean? Because I do have great ideas and I do have things planned. Like tomorrow, Ying Meets Yang of Gaming with Snow Bunny Gaming. We might have a special announcement. We're working on some things behind the scenes, always trying to improve for y'all. And I'm going to keep it short and sweet like that.
Absolutely.
What about you, bro?
You can find me, MM2K, on MM2K videos. Stay tuned to MM2K videos. I'm going to do a live stream. Well, I don't know. I'm going to do a stream of GFN. Not GFN, of Outriders. It's not working well for me on GFN right now, so I'm going to do it natively. I may not live stream it because I like for it to render. You know how my bro Project Storm showed me. Let it render at full, you know what I'm saying?
Let it render, fidelity. Man. Don't have people out here watching your stuff at 360p. It's too good, man. The content is too good to have people watching in 360p.
Meanwhile, I got come and see this 1440p stream, and then when they look at it, what'd you say, Storm? It's at 360p.
360p. Goodness. And he out here talking about, man, don't it look good? I just tweeted the sharpness and everything. Don't it look good? Come on, bro.
Hey, yo, yeah,
Come
so,
on, bro.
So I'm gonna do that, right? I'm gonna do that. See, this is why you gotta have a Project Store, man. He gonna tell you the truth. He gonna tell you raw and uncut. Hey, look, man, stop that. That's not the way to go, brother. That's not it. But yeah, I'm gonna do that. And what I'm also gonna try to do too is I'm gonna stream some Saints Row. I might do that live. Now, the reason why I haven't done it live is because I got hit when I did a 15-minute stream of Saints Row Storm, and I got hit with like 8 copyright claims. I'm like, holy crap. And I forgot it was because of the radio. So I had to set some things up and take care of all that. And now so.
Let me say something real quick. That's not a link to my channel, y'all. This is the link to the YouTuber that I was talking about today who broke down his thoughts on Stadia. Y'all might want to check that out. If you rock with Stadia, or if you just want to hear somebody's take who wasn't really sold on Stadia, check him out, man. Gamer Ranks. You know what I'm saying? That's what we were talking about earlier, and I forgot to drop that link, but go ahead.
Absolutely. You definitely check it out. So shout out to Knicks We Go Hard. We see you in the chat too, good brother. All right. With that said, thank you all so much. We got to go. People got to eat. People got to play games. We love y'all. Thank y'all so much for the support. And the new platform, Cloud Gamer Chronicles. We're going to be doing it. Stay tuned. With that said,
Knicks
love you
Go
all.
Hard kicked my ass on the Madden, y'all.
Oh,
it was a good game. I can't sit up here and lie, man. It was a hellified game, bro. You understand what I'm talking about? Like defense, craziness, man. But he gave me my 6 loss, and that's respect because it always makes me better, man. Yeah. Shout out to the boy Knicks We Go Hard. Wolf King.
Hey, I'm glad I ain't playing him after that because he's going to take it out on his next opponent. But with that said, peace out, everybody. Y'all have a wonderful gaming day.